sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
That's golden goal!
Absolutely tremendous.
There's no substitute.
Welcome to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. Some huge games for you this afternoon. 3 in the top flight for us, 3 in the Championship, all covered on Open All Mics. And of course, we'll bring you the goal news from right across the country. We're on the telly today, BBC One, from 4:30 until 5:25. And when the 3 o'clocks are done and dusted, our second commentary option of the day, 5:30 starting in Paisley, St Mirren up against Celtic. We heard the roar there, Stephen Craigan from the home fans as Barry Ferguson led his team out there. He was getting quite the reception actually in the minutes leading up to the game. Now the fans all want a piece of him.
Yeah, Kenny, but I think Barry's been quite calculated over the last 24 hours. I know Martin spoke to him before the game, but he wants to deflect away from himself. He wants to put all the focus on the players, that they have to go and deliver. They have to go and, we'll use that word again, take responsibility in the games like this. So yes, he's back and it's great for him, but he doesn't want the attention. He wants his team to go and win games of football. But I think it just brings an added edge to the game. It brings an added atmosphere around the ground. They've got one of their former heroes, one of the former captains, multi-trophy winner coming back to the club. So if he can influence them in any way and make them better, then I think that's all the supporters want to see. They want a top performance. They want to start the game better, which is why then when you flick it to the Motherwell side, they're going to have to try and cope with that. They can't afford to be opening too expansive in the opening 5-10 minutes, because if they go a goal behind until they go 2 goals behind, it's going to be a long afternoon for them.
Yeah, just seen pictures off the bench here, Rory, as we were laughing at earlier on. We saw Billy Dodds doing the warm-up there with the strikers, and a few very dodgy touches, weren't there?
There was a few very dodgy touches. I see James Tavernier, 500th appearance, standing there with his kids.
Yeah.
His oldest there, who looks in her teens. She was just newly born when I played with James Tavernier, so it's making me feel pretty old.
Did you think he was captain material when you played with him?
He wouldn't have stood out as being a captain, no, so he's obviously grown into it. He was quite reserved. He was opinionated, but he wasn't particularly loud in the dress. Not that you need to be loud to be a captain, but it's certainly not something I would have said you would have hung your hat on that James Tavernier would grow into a captain, but he seems to have done.
And 500 games, Willie Miller, that's not a lot to shout about, is it?
That's incredible, isn't it? I think, as far as being a captain, yeah, you've got to have influence, but it's how you handle yourself both on and off the park. You don't have to be shouting all over the place, shouting at players, although I found in my time as captain that it did help from time to time to actually chastise a player or two.
You missed doing that, Willie?
No, he does it on here.
Leanne's just been in the receiving end.
Sticking with the theme of captains as well, I noticed that Andy Halliday's captain in Motherwell this afternoon. It had been Lennon Miller in the absence of Stephen O'Donnell, which is an interesting one. I assume the new manager's coming in and made that call.
I was going to bring that up, Leanne, during Open All Mics. Stephen O'Donnell was actually, I think you said that Stephen O'Donnell was captain last weekend and was captain during the week. So whether that's just a case of let the young man go and get on with his football, take any kind of extra weight, any extra pressure off him, go and let him flourish and get back to being his best and give the captaincy to a more experienced senior player, and that's exactly what he's done, Michael Brimmer.
Willie, thoughts on how the game, that big game at Dens Park will go? Oh, we had a Chick want to come in?
Yeah, well, the kick-off at Hamilton's going to be held up here. There's been an instant, the Ultras, the Falkirk Ultras, their flares have been thrown onto the park. It's not a smoke issue. The referee has held up the game. I think danger of a fire issue. He's trying to clear it behind the park. The game will not start. He's brought in the goalkeeper, the Aki's goalkeeper, Dean Linus, to have an opinion of this as well. I think he moved a canister or something away from the back of the goal. The game will not start until the referee, who is incidentally Grant Irvin, is happy about this being sorted out, and it may or may not take a while here, but there's a real delay to the start of the game.
Madness, isn't it?
Silly, yeah. I mean, Falkirk, when I was at Falkirk, there was a flare thrown on the pitch and it burned a big hole in the pitch. So Falkirk fans know exactly what can happen if you behave like that.
Yeah, delayed kick-off there for Chick at New Douglas Park. So in terms of your game up at Dens Park, Willie, what are you expecting from this one?
Well, it's so important, isn't it? I mean, I think if St Johnstone can get a foothold in it, if they can get the first goal, then I think it'll be really difficult for the Dundee players to cope with the pressure. I mean, it's never looked like they were going to hit the bottom of the table up until recent weeks, but they've had that 2 6-0 reverses as well, and no wins in 5 league games. So, their confidence must be pretty low, and it's okay, Tony, talking about that the confidence is high, and and I thought they played quite well against Aberdeen when I watched them here as well in the second half, as we heard today at Motherwell. But at the same time, it is about results. We all know it's about results, and if you're not getting results, the pressure comes on, particularly if you go behind at this stage of the season with what's at stake in this game at home.
John Roberts,
telling me he's not had a wee look at the table.
I can't see a manager say that. We were all shaking their head in here.
Well, let me tell you, John Nelms will be looking at the table.
Surely with a formed part of the team talk.
That's a good point.
It's a 6-pointer this afternoon. It's a massive game, absolutely huge.
Yeah, and a big
he may not have looked at it, Kenny, but his players will certainly have looked at it. His players will know exactly what's at stake.
Yeah, and there's a big, I was saying that in the off the ball trail with Stuart, Willie, a big travelling support there this afternoon.
Yeah, I think it's almost 2,000 that St Johnstone have brought, and added to the nearly 6,000 that Dundee have got, the home crowd. It's a really good atmosphere so far, and it's looking like perhaps over 8,000 to watch this game.
Yeah, plenty at stake there. Yes.
So we are underway now, right this second, but the hold up was one of the ground staff came round. There was some kind of, I'm not sure, some kind of firework or something on the pitch that was removed. The ground staff man was very happy, went away. The referee said no, it came back because the main canister was somehow had worked its way in the back of the net. I think the goalkeeper Dean Linus had moved that. They went to remove that, and then he's away with Dean Linus's water bottles as well. So
you got all the drama, don't you?
Back with a water bottle. Carry on, Hamilton.
Fantastic stuff. Right, let's get to Dingwall. John Robertson is there. You watched County midweek down in Perth, John. You've seen some great performances from them this season, but quite disappointing midweek.
Very, as good as they were against Dundee here last Saturday, where they were tremendous and really thoroughly deserved their win. They were just weren't at it at all. They didn't get going. St Johnstone got a bit. St Johnstone were the better side, had the better chances. Big Jordan Missa, the goalkeeper, kept him in the game for a long period, and Vernier saved the one that eventually went in. It was a rebound that Kenzie Kirk took very, very well. But I say it'll be interesting for Willie down there, because the St Johnstone fans from the first minute to the last minute were right behind their team. They roared them on. They knew how big 3 points against County was going to be, going ahead of that trip to Dens Park. And as I said, the scenes after the match, I said they were reminiscent of winning the cup, but of course nobody was there when they won the cups.
John, what do Ross County fans and the people within the club, do you think, what do they feel is successful? Do you think if they miss out in the top six but they're comfortable in staying up, do you think that will be looked upon as a good season?
It's a strange one, because Roy McGregor wants to be the best of the best, and he wants to finish as high. I think they've been in the top six once, but if you're being brutally honest, I mean, I've been up here nearly 23 years. Ross County or Inverness when they're here, if you stay in the Premier League first and foremost, I mean, there's probably going to be about 3,500, maybe 4,000 here at the game. I think staying in the Premier League first and foremost is the most important thing. If you can get to middle of the table with top six safety, brilliant. Top six is a brilliant season, a good run in the cups. For me, for Ross County, and or if Inverness were here, they're not obviously at the moment. So for Ross County to be where they are at the moment, if the league's finished, that would be fine.
United.
Yes, County.
And it's number 16 of the season for George Oakley, and again it's another assist for Jay Henderson down the right hand side. Floated it over just out the penalty spot and headed into the bottom right hand corner by big George Oakley. Ayr United 1, Airdrie 0.
Kenny, can I just ask, is George Oakley and Curtis Main playing up to front together? That's a bit of an old school too, is it not?
I was just going to say, if Kenny had come to me for an update, I was going to say spare a thought for Sam Graham and Alex Bannon, the two defenders who, upon arriving at Somerset Park, you get told you're going to be facing Main and Oakley. It's not great news, but already Ayr United are in front, and they're looking really ominous, because before that they did a few half chances leading up to that, and I think this is going to be a tough old day for Airdrie.
Yeah, it's going to be a really big game down there. So George Oakley with the opening goal after 6 minutes. Ayr United 1, Airdrie 0. What's happening, Alan Preston? Early stages, your game starts, Park?
Nothing really. It's a midfield battle at the moment. It's not great football, just getting banged from one side of the pitch to the other. No chances so far at Raith Rovers, where it is Hanlon and Stevenson. They do great charity work, these two guys that play with Raith ex-Hibernian. So there's a lot of old Hibs guys here that I know coming to support them as well. So really good for them. 6 minutes on the clock, so Raith Rovers 0, Queen's Park 0.
Leanne, just going back to that game in Dingwall, it's quite an interesting position both these clubs find themselves in. They've both still got a shout, you'd say, at top six. but they're not too far away from Dundee, who currently occupy that relegation playoff spot. So again, this does feel like a big game this afternoon.
Yeah, no, absolutely, of course it is, Kenny. And I don't think any side in the bottom six has really put a decent run of form together for some time, or even throughout the course of the season. St Johnstone, sitting rooted at the bottom, have probably picked up more wins in the last 6 games, I think, than the majority of them. So they're the one in the bottom half of the table in form. Ross County, we've seen them. I think they've looked really good at points. Their Achilles heel is still conceding goals and not seeing games out. Games that they go in front often pegged back at points, but they've got goals on their side, and I think that's the exciting thing for Don Cowie's side. And Kilmarnock, well, I think we all expected them to be top 6 and thereabouts, but again have struggled and started at a lightning pace midweek against Rangers and completely died a death in the second half, were non-existent in the second half. So actually you don't know really what you're going to get from the likes of Kelly just now in Derek McInnes' side. So all to play for, absolutely. Every game in that bottom 6 is one to catch the eye.
Alloa Athletic 0, Cove Rangers 1. Adam Emsley with the opening goal there in 7 minutes. Rory, you were at that game, of course, down at Rugby Park midweek. You've seen a fair bit, I think it's fair to say, of Kelly this season. What have been the issues?
Well, the issues is the goals they concede are probably, I would imagine, the softest in terms of Derek McInnes' full time at Kilmarnock. They didn't, obviously in the Championship they were the best side. They finished first, and then when they came up, it was a difficult transitional season in the first season, and then the second season they were extremely successful. I just think they concede soft goals, and that's been a theme throughout. They got loads of red cards earlier in the season, which didn't help as well. Of course, I think it was ridiculous, like 8 or 9 red cards very, very early on in the season. So as Leanne says, they can be a bit Jekyll and Hyde. I think they ran out of puff a little bit during the week. They went man for man all over the pitch, and when Rangers did start to take a little bit more responsibility and movement on the ball, interchanging in the middle of the pitch, I think it just caught up with them slightly. I think Kilmarnock will be okay. If I had to put one team that I could pick right now out of that group that would be maybe just make it into the top 6, it would probably be Kilmarnock.
Kenny made a decent penalty shot down here at Ayr.
Yes, Kenny.
It was for Airdrie. It was the ball came into the box and Rico Diak went up for the header at the back post. He's a big presence as well on loan from Partick Thistle, and Scott McMahon just kind of pushed him forward and out the way, so he didn't meet the header. And Ewan Anderson, the ref, didn't give the penalty, but big shouts from the away fans that were here. Wasn't given, but maybe won a scare for Ayr there. Ayr won, Airdrie O'Neill's 0.
Yeah, George Oakley, that go. Alan Preston, you wanted to come in?
No, I was just going to say, I think Kilmarnock do stay up if they do, and I hope they do, but they've got a whole rebuild ahead of them. They've got so many players out with contract in the summer, and that then catches up with you. You can't keep bringing in 10 and 12 players every season, Kenny. You need a bit of stability, and that's the problem. You've got the likes of Armstrong, Wales is out, Joe Wright's out. There's a few that they've got out. So
he did it at Aberdeen, Alan, but it is a lot more difficult when you don't have the money.
Difficult.
Kenny, there'd been a goal at Ibrox, but I think Dan Casey is offside.
Right, okay, we've just seen that
now. A corner kick, the ball comes out. I think it's Dominic Thompson wins the ball. Dan Casey looks way offside from here.
Armstrong, I think it is. Is it?
Well, Dan Casey gets
the net.
Yeah, he's put the ball in the net. Dan Casey gets the ball and has the shot. Jack Butland, I think. I mean, it looks quite a soft shot, but somehow Jack Butland seems to let it out of his grasp.
Right, we're waiting on a replay here.
I've seen it in real time, Craigs. It comes from Rangers as well. Butland comes and gathers, sets Rangers off in the attack. I think it's James Tavernier, is it, that steps out?
It's a heavy
touch, gives it away.
Oh, it's tight, by the way.
I think he might be on.
Is it tight? Is it? It's just my first thought was he looked a mile offside. That's why I wasn't even going to come in on it.
Robin Popper's heel plays him on.
Is it onside?
Oh, what's Jack?
It's a good possibility.
It's a horrendous mistake by Jack Butland. You're right, Craigs.
Really soft.
Yeah,
I think Robin Popper's heel plays him on. Forget about Basmania, it's Michael Mania.
Yeah, and I just wonder though, the player that was behind, was it Armstrong that was behind? There's a player that might be in the direct vision of Butland though, in a definite offside position, and just how they view that.
Right, here we go here. So talk us through it, Leanne. So,
there we go. No, it's not. Sorry, I think he's going to be onside.
So Tavernier gives the ball away.
Yeah, I think you're spot on.
Probably think he's on, but Jack Butland, what on earth?
It's an awful mistake, but I cannot see any way that this goal is not going to be given.
Roy, I wouldn't go too early with that. Remember, we've had a tough week of VAR.
Well, we have.
Right, the guys are confident in here.
Just blown
the guys
whistle.
are confident.
He's going to give the goal. Oh, the Steve Mann have got the lead. Sorry for the delayed reaction, because I just thought Dan Casey initially when the ball came through looked a mile offside, but Jack Butland gets the ball. He tries to take a quick counter-attack. Someone has a heavy touch. Dominic Thompson wins the ball. It rebounds back into the 18-yard box to Dan Casey. He has the shot. Ball spills out, and Luke Armstrong taps the ball into the back of the net. So Ibrox got the early goal that it wanted. Unfortunately, sorry, it got the early goal that it was hoping for, but it's went to Motherwell, not Rangers.
I mean, Robin Proper, don't get me wrong, I mean, he's just dilly-dallying coming out. The rest of the back four all push out, and he just he just wanders, and it's him that plays Dan Casey on side.
But he can't be expecting Tavernier to give the ball away like that.
No, Kenny, you've got to step up.
Right.
You have to step up in that situation. The rest of your team have done it. He's walking. No, Dessers gives the ball away, and he shouldn't give the ball away. Right? It's a poor touch.
It's really poor for Butland.
To answer your question, it's mistake after mistake after mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a start.
Considering Jack Butland last season was one of the best, if not their best player.
It's phenomenal.
And this season he looks a
Craigs,
completely different goalkeeper. One mistake or one error, and he seems to be all over the place.
I always think it's his decision making in everything that he does just now, Craigs, that's alarm bells are ringing. And I know he can go and
just catch the ball. I mean, Dan Casey doesn't even put any pace on it.
There was no power at all.
None at all. So that's a concentration issue. Thinking, I'm going to get this, I'm going to do something else with it, as opposed to just pick the ball up, then make your mind up.
As well, though, you'll have done it a million times, Craig. The ball comes into the box, it gets cleared, both arms out, getting your back four pushed up alongside with you, get out, so that if the ball is recycled, it's offside. Robin Proper is 10 yards behind the rest of his defence because he's just ambling.
Which is a bit lazy, is what you're saying. It's laziness, basically, not clearing your box as quick as you can.
Yeah.
Well, Barry Ferguson and his coaching team found a way back into the game midweek at Kilmarnock. They were 2-0 down. Actually should have been more, but they were on, and they could have had a bigger advantage at the end. But they are behind Leanne. Rangers 0, Motherwell 1, Luke Armstrong 9 minutes. What's going to be really fascinating here, and Stephen will keep us updated. Well, of course, hear it coming through the headphones here, but the reaction from the crowd is if Motherwell can hang on to this for any sustained period.
Yeah, well, look, we know how intense it can be. We heard that last weekend at Ibrox, certainly. We watched the numbers flooding out the door. I do think the midweek performance, though, will have given them a bit of a saving grace.
Two saves. Big chance for Kilmarnock there. It was just the first 15 minutes gone. It's the first real bit of action. It's a long kick from O'Hara. It's poorly dealt with by Tompkinson. And Murray Watkin gets in, smashes a shot straight at Misa, comes back to him, smashes it up straight again. Big chance for Kilmarnock to take the lead.
Can I just say, sorry, I think I've witnessed the worst ever start to a game of football from Kofi Bammer, and I hate saying that because I like him as a player. He's had 3 touches, 2 he's passed to a Rangers player, and the other one he's passed out of the park. And Michael Bammer,
and his first challenge, he could have been into the boot, Craigs, I think, as well, when he came flying out.
And that's because he gave the ball away.
Yeah.
And I have to say, he's on Michael Bimmer's side, and he must be the coolest man in town, because I know if I was in the dugout, I'd be going absolutely nuts at him. And he's not batting an eyelid, so he's just trying to give him a little bit of encouragement. Well, he's going to have to improve.
Looking down, actually, just above in that commentary position there in the gantry, Crash, looking down at that Rangers dugout. What's that reaction down there?
Well, Dodgy and Neil are sitting behind the seats. They're hiding behind the seats. It's nothing to do with them when the team's losing. but when the team's winning, the pom-poms are out apparently and they're jumping about. So at the minute, Barry's on his own.
Love that. That's a brilliant answer, Willie, isn't it?
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Well done, Craig. That's brought a smile to my face. Certainly the football here hasn't brought much of a smile to my face. It's been pretty dour. It's St Johnstone on the attack just now. Dundee's had more of the ball, a couple of opportunities. John McGee making a good run, but his shot was weak, and then Lyle Cameron should have done better when he was hitting the byline. He put it way too high and towards the back post. But fantastic quote there from Craigs. That'll be the one that'll be repeated tonight, I'm sure.
I think we'll send it to Dodgy later, actually. There's an idea. Rory, just in terms of that game.
Not Neil.
No. Yeah, you try shoving a mic in Neil's face after a defeat. That's an experience, I'll tell you. Rory, just looking at the game that Willie's at today, do you think St Johnstone would be content, maybe the wrong word, but would accept a point and just, it's away from home, keep Dundee right in close to them? Or do you see it's like a must-win, pile the pressure on Dundee, get level on points?
I don't think it's a must-win. No, that's too far. I think before the game, I think if they were offered a draw, I don't think St Johnstone would take it. 3 wins in the last 5 in the league.
Right.
Going to Dens Park, Dundee in poor form. I think it would be a poor sign of where they were at mentally if they're happy to accept a point, being 3 points behind them. I think you go there and you try your best to win the game, and they're capable of winning the game. I do feel like they possibly felt they were gone, and that's what's released that pressure a little bit. They've got themselves back into a position now where they're within touching distance. So as I said before, it's going to be very interesting to see how they play today. Just watching that Jack Butland mistake again, my goodness, it's bad.
Horrific, absolutely horrific. John, what did you like about St Johnstone midweek?
it just does seem to be a bit more hunger in the game. You could see the sense that the situation they were in, they embraced it, is probably the best word to say, that they knew they had to win.
Goalie could be off here.
All right.
Oh, yellow card for the goalie. Callum Ferry comes charging out his box, and he's wiped the Raith Rovers player completely out. Raith Rovers player gets there first. I can't see who it is. He's on the far side. He's lying down. But horrendous challenge. He's got a yellow card. Lucky lad. Very lucky.
Yeah, big moment potentially in that game there. So in terms of what you saw from St Johnstone midweek, John, that would give the fans, you were saying the fans were really buying into it Wednesday, weren't they?
The fans knew how big the game, and that's what the whole of the stadium, the fans, the players seemed to embrace the fact that they knew if they could get all 3 points against Ross County, they were heading to Dens Park on Saturday. And then they heard that the biggest roar of the night was when they heard Motherwell scored the second goal. That was the bit they thought, right, what a chance we've got now. And knowing it was there, and I say the scenes afterwards were reminiscent of having won a big cup game or something like that. The fans were cheering, the players were on it. Simo Valakari was giving it, big licks to the fans. They were really, it was like a cup game for them. But they travelled out to Dens Park to say, knowing today the pressure's heaped onto Dundee, because it's like 5 games without a win. It's where's that next win coming from? Dundee will have.
Do you think he would have taken a draw before the game, Valakari, John?
No, I think his attitude from the start has been that we need to win games, Yeah. And he's been, and the thing was, I've listened to Alan Preston and the likes earlier on in the season talk about the sort of the crazy forward tactics, just chucking men forward. But there's a bit more control about them. They play a kind of, when they attack, it's like a 3-2-5 formation. But when they lose the ball, they drop into a sort of 3-4-3. But the two wide men come and play the box formation. It's quite trendy these days, so it's quite a strange little formation they play, but they seem to be learning it now. They seem to understand it. I don't know if Willie's seen that in the game today, but the two wide men when the attack come in, and it's the two wing backs that bomb down the flank, so they've kind of got a 5 there. Mackenzie Kirk was one of them that kind of played in that the top of the box and left Sidibe up front. So it was, but there was just there was an atmosphere about the ground where they knew how big the game was. They knew that nothing less than 3 points was going to do them, and they got them, as I say. And if you look at Dundee from the other perspective, they'll have come into the week as well thinking Ross County away, Motherwell away, and then St Johnstone at home. We've got a chance of winning 7 points out of that and going, let's look at the top 6, and suddenly they're 3 points behind and in a real relegation dogfight. And that's why today up here it's interesting. It's a battle, because a win for either side puts them on the cusp of top 6. A draw is no good whatsoever to them. And the one tactical change Derek's made here, he's switched from his back 4 to a back 3 and pushed Ndaba in the middle of the park. So it's just a match up here.
Another goal gone in. Spartans 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 0. Callum Booth on 18 minutes. Stephen, you of course know Valakari very well. He comes across as quite a cool customer.
He's very calm, Kenny. I think that's the key, and whether that's down to management experience that he's had, I think it's been over 300 games, or whether that's just his personality, but he seems very calm with his players. He understands what the job is. I think his key is to try and make sure they're in touch come match day 34, when the the bottom 6 starts, and they're within touch and distance of a couple of teams where the pressure's been on them for a long time. The focus has been on them, tension's been on them, and they've managed to deal with that, and they've managed to find a way to win games of football. Teams above them haven't really had that pressure, because they feel as if they've been away from trouble. Suddenly now they're getting sucked back into it, so it's a different mentality change for them. Whereas because St Johnstone have had it for such a long period of time, and the manager's been quite calm and calculated with everything he's done, they're prepared for it and they're ready for it, and they know how to cope with it.
Stephen, you're at Ibrox today, of course, and the pictures coming into the studio here. Motherwell look fairly comfortable.
Yeah, there's not been an awful lot in the game, I have to say. There's been a lot of misplaced passes. There's been no real fluency to it. Motherwell are trying to release their wing backs to go and press, which they have to be careful about.
It's a chance for Falkirk. Cleared off the line. It's a big mistake at the back. Branley Stewart's through. He's just got the ball to roll into net, but Aki's got a player back, cleared off the line, and this is another corner for Falkirk. Kenny, there were 7 corners in a row, and there's been all Falkirk. That was a chance, but it remains Aki's 0, Falkirk 0.
Yeah, big chance there. Falkirk, of course, still top of the league. Just seen a Rangers attack there, just been cleared by the Motherwell defence, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm talking about going to press. Now, the wing backs are the guys that are triggering the press, but Tom Sparrow's running 30 yards to try and put pressure on Jeffrey. If you can't affect his first touch, stay at home. Because all that's happening is he's taking himself out of the game. Rangers are playing 2 passes. Suddenly you have 2, 3, 4 players out of the game. So you can't press at every opportunity. You can when you're close and you're compact, but you can't have players running 30, 40 yards to try and press someone who's deep in their own half. And that's where they're getting picked off. It was just a shot from the edge of the box from Václav Černý there as well. But that's the biggest issue for Motherwell. For Rangers, they need to up the tempo. They need to be quicker in their passing, quicker in their thought. They went 4-4-2, which means Motherwell have an extra 2 players in midfield at times. It's about finding those players and making their passes count.
What's happening down at Somerset Park, Kenny Crawford?
Yeah, still 1-0 to Ayr against Airdrie, but Airdrie have actually responded quite well. Adam Frizzell put in a nice ball for Ben Wilson, the Northern Irish player, striker who's actually got 14 goals this season, so fair play to him considering Airdrie are bottom of the league. Going back to the goalkeeper situation, Josh Clark in Ayer's goal, not had too much to do. One clearance that was a bit ropey, so if you're a free agent goalkeeper is listening out there, maybe stand by your phone. Scott Brown might be on for you, 6th one of the season. But no, Ayr doing well just to be 1-0 in front and looking dangerous up front with that partnership of Curtis Main and George Oakley, the goal scorer.
Latest scores then in the Premiership: Dundee 0, St Johnstone 0, Rangers 0, Motherwell 1, Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 0. 5:30 start in Paisley. Full commentary to come of St Mirren against Celtic in the Championship today. Yes.
Falkirk ahead, Liam Henderson with the header, corner on the right hand side, swung in by Calvin Miller with the left foot, and there was no doubt in the run from Ian Henderson. I could see it coming all the way out. Sadly Dean Linus couldn't, and it is Hamilton Accies 0, Falkirk 1.
Yeah, another big goal there for the league leaders. So just to go back to these Championship latest scores: Ayr United 1, Airdrie 0, Dunfermline 0, Morton 0, Hamilton Accies 0, Falkirk 1, Wraith Rovers 0, Queen's Park 0 in League 1, Alloa Athletic 0, Cove Rangers 1, Arbroath 0, Annan Athletic 0, Dumbarton 0, Stenhousemuir 1. They have just scored, have Steny. That goal coming from Corey O'Donnell after 22 minutes, 1-0 up away at Dumbarton. Elsewhere in League 1, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Montrose 0, Queen of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 0. And in League 2 this afternoon, Edinburgh City 0, Stranraer 0, Forfar Athletic 0, Clyde 0, Peterhead 0, Elgin City 0, Spartans 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Stirling Albion 0. The leaders East Fife 0. So let's continue then around the grounds. A fairly quiet start. Willie Miller up there at Dens.
I think it's very quiet, Kenny. Dundee's had a couple of opportunities, but nothing spectacular. You wouldn't have expected, much from the chances.
Oh my goodness, what a counter-attack from Motherwell. It should be 2-0. It's just a long ball from Ellery Balcom. Jeffrey comes around the halfway line to try and win the ball off Sparrow. Completely goes under the ball. Sparrow chested into Callum Slattery. He continues his run down the right-hand side, Sparrow. Slattery pulls him in, puts him in into the 6-yard box. He's driving in from the corner of the angle, and he hits the side net and near post. He should go across the goal, and it could have been 2-0. That's a huge let-off for Rangers. They've been really sloppy.
Yeah, the reaction of Michael Vimmer says it all there, doesn't it?
Craigs, one thing I noticed, you talked about them playing the 4-4-2, which they did in the first half last week as well, or during the week, and I mentioned quite a few occasions Raskin and Diamande were isolated, and on that occasion they both committed themselves forwards. It's been headed in the pitch to the midfield area, and Tom Sparrow is in ridiculous amounts of space in the middle of the pitch.
Tom Sparrow was on the touchline. It was Callum Slattery. He was just inside him. He was just inside him, because that's what they're doing. You've got Raskin and you've got Diamande. Sparrow and Lennon Miller are trying to play between the midfield players and the Rangers centre halves, and the other two, which is Andy Halliday and Kai Andrews, they're playing between them. So there's almost a boxing. That 4 boxer boxing off the 2 Rangers midfield players. So when they try and go forward, the ones in behind them are getting the ball. When they drop deeper, the ones in front of them are getting the ball. So Motherwell are posing problems in that area, really.
Yeah, just a Rangers attack here, Craigs. A free kick coming in.
Yeah, it is. It just comes from sloppiness from Motherwell. And it's the one thing I'd say, that when you come here to the bigger venues, that's what you've got to cut out. Sloppy individual errors, being loose in possession, giving away wide free kicks, or giving up cheap play, because they're good players on their day and they can turn things around. Černý has another shot from distance, but Motherwell will be happy. That's 25 minutes gone. The big concern was coming here, conceding first, and suddenly all the energy that Rangers have drives them forward. But Barry Ferguson, I have to say, is cutting a frustrated figure. He's clapping his hands, he's asking for pace, he's asking for tempo, and he's not getting it.
Yeah, to go back to the game at Dens Park, Willie, it's a derby match, so much at stake. Just feel a bit nervy at the moment, perhaps.
It is a derby match, but it doesn't feel like one, to be perfectly honest, Kenny. It's You know, there's a coolness and a calmness out there that shouldn't be existing, I don't think. the position that these two clubs find themselves in, there's got to be much more urgency. I think particularly the home side from Dundee, they haven't done much in terms of trying to put St Johnstone under pressure. You know, St Johnstone at the back have had loads of time on the ball to use it and to build it up. They look extremely calm. They don't look like a team under pressure at this point at all, but as you can hear in the background, the Dundee fans are certainly a little bit agitated with the lack of I think urgency from the home side. That's what is kind of a little bit bemusing for me. I just would have thought that, you know, Tony Docherty would have wanted to see more energy from the home side early in the game, and he just hasn't had it at all.
Who's having the better of it in Dingwall, John Robertson?
Slightly Kilmarnock have had a couple of efforts at goals. I say Brad Lyons in 7 minutes with an overhead kick, it floated well over the bar, but that was a big chance after 15 minutes. Marley Watkins went clean through, as said, smashed the first shot against the misser, and then controlled it, smashed the second shot. Ross County haven't really been in the box at all, if I'm being brutally honest. I've got nothing written down for their efforts at the moment. As you imagine, it's competitive, it's feisty, there's a few tackles going in, there's some big lads in either team and they're crashing into each other, but no real, you know, and the big chance was just a long ball. O'Hara just booted one out of his hands down the park, wasn't dealt with properly, and they say Watkins got himself in but wasn't able to get past Jordan Amisa, who's picked up from where he was on Wednesday.
You know, I love a story. You guys always deliver. Last week, some great stories. On you go.
Scored! Zach Rudden!
Alan Preston.
Total mistake in the back. I think it's handling that makes a mistake. Really poor. They get the ball and it's just played back to Zach Rudden 6 yards out. He just rolls it into the back of the net. Over to the crowd because he played here last year, didn't get a good reception. But Zach Rudden has put Queen's Park ahead, 1-0.
Yeah, a great goal there for Queen's Park away at Wraith Rovers. So last week I gave you a task of giving us a story based on what we saw from the Celtic players. Devastated, of course, after that late equaliser in Munich. Some great stories. John Robertson pouring his heart out last weekend, of course. Very tough reliving that day. Apologies. So stick with me in this. So watching last night the news, Zelensky and Trump, and Clyde Myrie said, 30 years in journalism, that is the most incredible thing I have ever witness. So in football, the most incredible thing you've ever witnessed, it could be a bizarre thing, it could be teammates scrapping in the pitch, it could be an own goal, a comeback, I don't know, an animal in the park, anything at all. So have a wee think. There'll be a story in there somewhere.
I'll get that one out the way right away because Alan Preston's there. Wraith Rovers, Craig Levine, Graham Hogg smacking each other and Craig Levine knocking them out. And they both got 10 match bans.
That was incredible, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
Two heavyweights.
Pre-season friendly. It was a pre-season friendly, and under Joe Jordan we played a 3-5-2, and they talked about Graham Hogg was always the left side, the centre back. Craig was the sort of sweeper, and Craig says, whatever you do, always be in front of me, always be in front of me, always be in front of me. And Graham Hogg is a big centre half in a 4-4-2 in England at Man U, used to drop off, and Jordan was always on, Craig was always on, stay up. Pre-season, the whole of the back five moved up, Hoggy dropped back, the Wraith Rovers player went through, and Craig Levine comes sprinting back and says, are we going to have to go through all this again, Hoggy? And the next minute, it was like Hoggy threw a punch, and Craig hit him with two. I tell you what, the boys Ben and Eubank would have been delighted with two absolute crackers. And I said they both ended up getting 10-game bans.
Yeah, they were a heart. He's a big lad, is Craig Levine.
Trump Sparrow, 2-0, Motherwell. They got the warning sign before it. When he went down the right-hand side, Rangers really narrow. I've no idea where Jeffy is. But Lennon Miller, during that build-up, Lennon Miller has a lovely weighted pass right in the midfield. Square ball. It means Slattery can open his body up, feed in Tom Sparrow. Hadji doesn't match and run, doesn't want to match and run. Jeffy, he's drifted off somewhere else. In comes Tom Sparrow. This time he went across the goal. He didn't go near post. And it's 2-0 to the Steelmen.
The space he had there was absolutely incredible. Motherwell fans delighted over there in the corner. But that's Barry Ferguson. I'll be going nuts with that.
Tavernier's pass initially, Leanne, is so slack.
It's so slack, but when you look at Jeffy's positioning, actually when Tavernier makes that pass, he's back to the ball, Jeffy, on the far side. He's so detached, so unaware of what's going on. At no point is he thinking worst case scenario if we lose the ball. Positionally then he gets himself in so narrow, at no point is he marking. Listen, credit to Motherwell because they've looked to try and move it, Craigs. Rory and I are obviously across both monitors in the studio, but Motherwell are looking to try and play some good stuff, really putting Rangers under an awful lot of pressure, but when they find it, breaking lines early, looking to try and utilise the switch of play, which they've managed to do. Composure in front of goal as well, lovely finish. And we've now got pictures of Barry and Neil is out, both of them going absolutely nuts.
Still no sign of Dodds, eh?
No, he's obviously still not taking responsibility for it.
Near the pies,
But what an unbelievable scoreline.
You wouldn't, Alan, you wouldn't believe the defending we're watching here is incredible. I mean, the space that they had. There was a nice finish as well.
And against Kilmarnock as well, though. It looked like that early on.
What says they've been lifeless. When you think of that coming back in that game and winning 4-2, winning the game and Barry playing them this week, they've started so flat, so easy to play against. Lethargy, and that's the one thing we're talking about. These players, 10 of these players started last Saturday, right? And they weren't good enough, and they showed their laziness and they showed their inconsistent side. Are these players trustworthy? Could you put your trust in these players? And I know we spoke during the week about Rangers and Fenerbahce. If they turn up with this kind of mindset and this approach, they will get absolutely blown out of the water. This is a Motherwell team who hadn't won for 7 games and just won during the week.
One thing I've noticed with yourself, Craigs, it was talking about Andy Halliday recently. I don't know if it was yourself.
It was.
I've noticed a lot. He's forward pass. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's men in between Rangers, Motherwell men in between Rangers defence and midfield and acres of space, but his first thought is to go forward. I've really noticed that today.
Which I'd said previously, Rory,
that's what I'm saying,
the season was he was always looking to play Ellery Balcom or Liam Gordon. Now he's looking to play Luke Armstrong or Callum Slattery. So
that stood out.
It's just a little tactical tweak from the manager that has made such a difference to Motherwell. Listen, the game's not over. I'm on, they're only 32 minutes into the game, but what a start from the home side. And once again, Rangers find themselves 2 goals down under Barry Ferguson.
Yeah. Is that I know that big story at Ibrox. I don't know the last. Well, I do know the last time that Rangers lost 3 home games. I think 13 years ago in a row, 3 home games in a row. That is. Meanwhile, Falkirk
have
he
was up all night doing his research.
I think I was there covering it all the time. Anyway, game it here. There's a pump for Falkirk. Cole Donaldson has had to go.
John Robertson.
Well, this might take a bit of sorting out. It's Phillips who scored the goal in a scramble, but God knows what's going on. Jordan White got in behind first, Leanne, and he looked like he'd brought down for a penalty. He got it past the keeper. The Kamara defender trying to get back Joe Wright, but he smashed it against Phillips. It's ended up in the net, but this may well be checked.
Right.
Rory's up out of his seat now, John. He's trying to get closer to the screen, but we'll get a replay. It certainly looked like there was an awful lot happening.
There was. That's the screen closest to me here in the studio. Don Cowie's now just having a look at the replay as well. This is a tense moment up there in Dingwall. We'll get a replay shortly, Rory. Hopefully you can. Here we go. I mean, did that ball come off the Kilmarnock player before the County player?
No, the first part was the dodgy bit when Jordan White went through. He's given it though. The goal's been given. On the goal, 1-0 Ross County.
Yeah, it's poor defending, isn't it? Really poor defending.
Poor, but I like the desire of Phillips to go and get on the end of it just as it breaks. Make sure he puts his body in there, gets that final contact. And there was a decent kind of half chance at Ibrox as well, just as that was happening. Craigs, wasn't it?
It's another goal for Ayr United, and this time it's Stanger, George Stanger, making the most of it was knocked back into the area from a corner. I think it was Scott McMahon that put it back in, and there was Stanger just to nod it in from 2 yards out. It's Ayr United 2, Airdrie 0. Stanger's 3rd goal, I think, of the season.
Right, the goal's flying, and I'll just bring you up to date. So Stennismuir have a second away at Dumbarton. Corey O'Donnell in 31 minutes. Just confirmation. That second goal for Motherwell at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Motherwell 2. Tom Sparrow right on the half-hour mark. Morton 1-0 up away at Dunfermline. It's been a really poor start, you'd have to say, for Michael Tidser at Dunfermline. Moffat with that goal on 33 minutes. Inverness Cally Thistle are behind at home to Montrose. Callum Sandilands with that goal on 30.
Big chance! Best chance
Possible
of the game.
Red card at Ibrox.
Sidibe, let me just get this one out the road. Leanne, Dre right down the left-hand side, cuts it back on a plate for Sidibe. He has a swipe at it. The left foot comes way back round about his head. Try to melt it into the back of the net from 8 yards. All he has to do is make contact, and it's a goal for St Johnstone. He just kicks it completely and takes all. You know these crosses where they hit the byline, and you don't actually have to put much into the cross for it to rifle into the back of the net.
Inside of the boot, just going direct it towards goal. because the angle that it was coming back at as well, I think it would have been enough, as you say. It's made it difficult enough to defend against, but he swings his legs so far back that actually by the time he arrives at the ball, he gets it completely wrong.
And did you say there was something going on?
There was a possible red card check at Ibrox.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. First of all, Cyril Dessers should have made it 2-1. It was a short corner kick. James Tavernier ended up crossing it to the back post. Dessers, I'd actually witnessed the net bulging, and I thought it was the goal, but it actually hit the side net. But then there was a possible red card. Was it Callum Slattery on someone? I think possibly.
Yeah, we didn't see it back.
But it was cleared very quickly, Leanne. It was moved on. But again, a bit of incident. But that's because Motherwell overplaying, giving the ball away as much as they want to play. You can't play every single time. Every goal kick you can't take short. So they've now mixed it up a little bit. You can't be predictable and one-dimensional all the time. But Robin Proper just brought down Callum Slattery, who I think he might have been booked for it. But yeah, still 2-0 here after 36 minutes.
Certainly looked a booking, Craigs.
Yeah.
And Rory, this is a crucial period right now because you witnessed the game and Rangers got that goal back just before half-time down at Rugby Park. It's so important Motherwell hang on to the break here.
Yeah, I mean, and they could have been 3-0 down before that happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Egerman did have a chance early on to go 1-0 up, but listen, Motherwell will have their tails up. I think the message, if they get to half-time from Michael Vimmer, will be do not retreat, do not sit back off them and let Rangers come at you. We need to get the third goal and kill this game off because they'll feel they're capable of it. But there's mistakes all over the pitch. Robin Proper's struggling again. Commits a foul there in the middle of the pitch, which comes from poor positioning. Tavernier's given the ball away an awful lot. Jack Butland speaks for itself, his mistake. So yeah, again, players not taking responsibility.
It's Curtis Main. It's his first goal for Ayr United. They're now 3-0 up against Airdrie. This is getting messy for the Diamonds. Jay Henderson crossed it from the right. This time it was low. Curtis Main ran to the front post and just got a nice, neat foot on it to knock it in at the bottom right-hand corner. This could be more. It's 3-0 at the moment to Ayr United against Airdrie.
Yeah, absolutely cruising down there at Somerset Park, but the leader's still ahead at New Douglas Park. Chick Young.
Oh, goal! Oh, what a strike that is! Magnificent! Hamilton Accies in level terms. Whoa. It's a fabulous hit. I think, tell you exactly who that's going to be in a minute. What a strike that is. Signed by players. Kibble out of nothing, Ken. He's 25, 30 yards out. Hits on the volley. I can see the covering it away from the goalkeeper, Nicky Hogarth. And there's more good news for Ayr United because Hamilton are level with Falkirk here at New Douglas Park.
It's a fantastic title race. Livingston, of course, drawing on the BBC Scotland game last night away at Partick Thistle. They were struggling for long periods in that game, but they really piled it on towards the end of that match.
Oh, what a save that is!
Yes, Alan.
Brilliant play by Raithrum was on the left-hand side as the ball comes across from Easton. It's Jamie Garnison at the back post. It looks like it's going in, but somehow Callum Ferry goes from his near post, gets right across his goal and gets a big left hand to it and knocks it out. What a save.
So Ayr United 3, Airdrie 0, just confirmation that Curtis Main goal in 39 minutes. Yes, Chick.
Yeah, the goal scorer is Regan Tumulty and he's in 95th game.
It's a goal for St Johnstone. Quite magnificent down the right hand side. A lovely little clip in for Mackenzie Kirk, and he just, as cool as you like, just puts the forehead on it and just caresses it with his forehead into the far top corner to give St Johnstone a lead. What a magnificent goal on the break for St Johnstone. They've looked cool, calm and collective, and they deserve this lead.
Brilliant, really good from St Johnstone. Simple stuff, really effective, down the right hand side, moved the play, and what a finish from Mackenzie Kirk. He makes it look so simple, Rory, doesn't he?
Yep, right between the sticks where you should be as a striker as well.
He's been excellent for St Johnstone.
I mean, what sort of pressure are we talking about in Tony Docherty right now? I was looking at some threads on social media last night. A lot of the fans really, really unhappy, and we know he did a great job last season. Of course, he got them top 6, but right now it seems to be a real struggle. And the thing is, Lan, he's not solved the defensive issues.
No, he's not. And look, Dundee are a club that in the past they've made that decision, haven't they, in changing their manager, certainly with James McPake when he was there, that came to a point. And you know, Tony Dock will understand the pressure that he's under. Certainly this type of result this afternoon could be quite damaging for him. You've got to find, even in a poor run of form, some real positives, whether it is, you know, grinding out a clean sheet at points. Maybe you're not going to score and convert all the time, but there's got to be signs there that you're looking to try and right the wrongs and what the performances have looked like so far. But this afternoon it's all about St Johnstone. For me, I think, you know, it's really galvanised them, the last number of results that they've got. I think the confidence being down the bottom end, Rory touched on it, 3 out of 5 in the last number of games, 3 wins from 5. Going with the motivation this afternoon that you can draw level and points with Dundee. Superb, really good, take the game to them, attacking, good quality in the final third, but Dundee really have got their problems to answer.
Sam Curtis as well, watched him playing against Hartsley and a couple of weeks ago in the telly, and he did magnificently well to get in crossing positions, but his crossing was really, really poor, and he's on the money there, so he's obviously taken away and worked on it and stuff like that, so really good ball into the box.
But it's a composed level of build up there as well. You know, it's not all gung-ho, it's not just looking to try and whip balls in. They've managed to manufacture it. They've got players into the right area, as we say. Mackenzie Kirk in between the posts, lovely header, and it gives St Johnstone a well-deserved advantage.
Just bringing you up to date with the goals then. So as Kenny brought us news, Avera United going 3-0 up at home to Airdrie. Just seconds later, Chick telling us Hamilton Accies back on level terms with Falk at Regan Tumulty with that goal on 36 minutes. Arbroath 1 and Athletic 0. Fraser Taylor on 40 minutes. A first half hat-trick for Stenny's Corey O'Donnell away to Dumbarton. Dumbarton 0, Stenny 3. That goal coming on 40 minutes, and confirmation of that huge goal up there at Dens Park. Dundee 0, St Johnstone 1, Mackenzie Kirk on 40 minutes. You're surrounded there by the home fans, Willie. What's the atmosphere like in there?
Okay now! They're okay now because it's level. It's Simon Murray that's just sneaked in at the back post. The cross coming from the throw-in down the left-hand side. Little flick on, and there is Simon Murray. It's a really good throw-in, and he evades his marker just to prod it with the forehead into the back of the net. So the answer to your question, they were depressed, they're now elated.
And that's why we love football. Yeah, we're just going to get another wee look at this here, guys. Simon Murray, you see him, he's beating his chest, and it means an awful lot to him.
Are these long throws? Every team seems to do it these days. I'm not a huge fan of it. It doesn't work all that often, but it has worked on this occasion. So it just flung into the box, it gets flicked on, whether it's a St Johnstone or Dundee head, I'm not quite sure actually who gets first contact on the long throw, but it goes to the 6-yard box. Yeah, it's a Dundee head, really good header, one they've obviously worked on, and Simon Murray with the movement to the back stick.
Shaughnessy, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the flick on. You could watch Simon Murray celebrate goals all day. If you ever find yourself a bit doom and gloom and you're not sure of what sort of mid state you're in, just watch Simon Murray for a couple of minutes. I think even Tony Docherty just watched him celebrate, and then he reacted off the back of his celebration. So look, if Dundee are going to get themselves out of a dogfight at the bottom, he's the type of player you want in your dressing room. Certainly on the pitch, he gives Dundee everything that he's got, and he loves scoring goals.
Yeah, Mackenzie Kirk on 40 minutes. Simon Murray just 3 minutes later with the equaliser. Any sign of Rangers getting back into the game at Ibrox? Stephen Craigan.
Kenny, I have to say, if I'm honest, it looks more likely. I'm not saying that Motherwell will get the third goal, but they're comfortable with the ball. When they get the ball in that midfield area, keep talking about it's 4v2 at times, because Hadji's not tucking in, doesn't want to track back. Cherney doesn't want to tuck in and track back. So at times it's 4 Motherwell centre midfield players against Rangers 2, and that's where they're getting their success. Yeah. Rangers are getting a little bit of success down the outside when Hadji goes one-on-one or Cherney goes one-on-one, and they're backed up by their fullbacks. But they're going to need an awful lot more than this. If they play at this tempo and with this lack of creativity and the real lethargy in their play, they aren't going to get back into it. It's going to boil down to possibly a Motherwell individual error that allows them back into it. So they'll now be clock watching. They'll be thinking half-time's looming. Let's get in at 2-0. Rangers are desperate for something just to spark them into life.
Half-time at Kirkcaldy, Raith Rovers 0, Queen's Park 1.
Accies have got the ball in the net.
Yes, Chick.
Oh, it's going to be chalked off. Offside. Free kick played in. They got the ball, a scramble in the 6-yard box. Ball was touched into the net, but Kenny, it has been chalked off. Offside, I think. So it remains Accies 1, Falkirk 1.
Yeah, somebody saying half-time there, that's absolutely flown in. I didn't realise 45 minutes had passed.
Half-time at Somerset Park as well. Convincing from the honest men. Ayr United 3, Airdrieonians 0.
I was slightly concerned, Kenny, looking at the fixtures in terms of goals and action. I thought it might be a nervy day for a lot of teams, but we've been treated to plenty of goals and action.
It's been great, and that of course is following on from the incredible action that we had midweek on Sports. Peterhead 1, Elgin City 0. Andy McCarthy in first half stoppage time. Chick, if you're still there, just I know you'll have a story for me. The most bizarre thing you've ever seen in football.
every week. I see something bizarre, to be honest with you. But there's only one contender in the history of Scottish football.
Right.
Estonia, Tallinn, the one team in Tallinn, but they never turned up. And I was all over that story, Kenny. The night before, I went with Craig Brown to watch Scotland train, and he was they imported the floodlights from Finland. Oh, he's a chance for Accies, actually. No, let me go back to Craig. It was utterly bizarre. And of course, they moved the UEFA Observer. Goal! Oh my goodness! I can't get to tell that story because Accies have rattled themselves into the lead. Wow! Stunned Falkirk down there. Ball absolutely fired in to the back of the net. I think it might have been with McDonald. What a goal it is. In any case, it is Hamilton Accies 2. Falkirk 1.
Yeah, Patricia, a huge moment there in the race for the championship title. It's a three-way race. Ayr United doing the business today. 3-0 up at home to Airdrie down at Somerset Park. Hamilton Accies were behind to Falkirk. They have turned things around. They're now 2-1 ahead, and it has been a really barren spell for them.
1-0 Ross County.
Yeah, again, Kilmarnock really struggling this season. It's just not really clicked for them so far. County, I mean, they were poor midweek, but they're bouncing back in style today. So far, they've got the advantage there at half-time up in that game in Dingwall, and still we play at Ibrox. Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, we're in the out of time, Ken. Of course, we had the delay for the first Motherwell goal for it to check. Then we had a shot from the edge of the box, Mega Man. That's the one thing. They've had plenty of shots from distance, which is probably not ideal for Barry Ferguson. Journey's had 2 or 3. One comfortably saved by Balcom, one over the bar. Diamandi's had a couple. Igaman's had a couple. But they just look so disjointed with regards that they're playing with the back 4 who are playing together. The midfield 4 are there and the front 2 are isolated. There's nobody linking up the play. So I know previously Igaman has played as a number 10 where he's dropped off the game, but he's playing right up beside Dessers, which is back to Rory's point where the midfield 2 are getting absolutely run over the top of. So they're going to have to change something. Tactically, it's going to have to change. I know Rory said ahead of the game Barry Ferguson can make changes if he's not happy with his team, but who are you bringing on? You're going to bring on Bairami, you're going to bring on Tom Lawrence. They're the only real 2 attacking players on the bench. Billy Rice possibly to come on and try and have an impact in this game, because yes, it's only half time, but he'll need better than that. And he's waving his arms and he's up and down in his hunkers. He's not a happy man at all, so I wouldn't want to be in that dressing room at half time. And that sums it up. Yanis Hadji has the ball all the time to play an overlapping run from Jefty, and he passes it straight out for a goal kick. Yanis Hadji, I have to say, this afternoon has been really, really poor. Doesn't want to track back and hasn't brought anywhere near enough going forward. So he probably epitomises how poor Rangers have been.
Rolling around the ground, he did it consistently on Wednesday, barely touched down. I hate seeing it.
I just feel when I watch Rangers, and I've said it for a long time, Kenny, you'll know that, I don't think the system that they play with the back 4 suits them, and at times just that lone striker up top and one in behind at points. I just think they don't have enough quality to build the game. I don't think they have enough quality to dictate possession. We spoke about it on Wednesday night. They're a better team without the ball. I think they've got to be much more direct in getting into the opposition half, using the physicality you've got with the likes of Dessers, Igaman, even the likes of Danilo on the bench perhaps coming on in the second half. But these players don't actually have enough involvement at points, and Craig, you're right, Hadji's been so wasteful in possession. They've not got enough of a creative spark in the middle of the pitch to drive the ball forward at points. I just don't think they need to overthink building the game. They're building literally fixed in a back 4 where there's 4 players occupying a back line under no pressure, and then they've got zero output up at the top end of the pitch.
Yeah, they've been really poor, and actually working a lot with Neil on these games, particularly the European games. He quite likes the thought of Dessers up top, you know, with someone just tucked in behind him. And you wonder if he would change things at all, but they don't.
This afternoon you've got an opportunity. I know. I suppose we're having, Balogun's back on the bench this afternoon. Sterling's back on the bench. Could you go and go a back 3 and perhaps push James Tavernier higher up the pitch again, rather than being one of those 2 central defenders? They'll certainly need to roll the dice and change something, because what, again, the fans have watched for 45 minutes has been nowhere near good enough. And against a good structured Motherwell side, which certainly they look like they're that again this afternoon, much more composed and looking to try and play. But they've always had a good structure, Motherwell. That's why at points this season they've been in the top half of the table and they've put a good run together. They won't crumble easily this afternoon, so if Rangers are going to look to get back in the game, they're going to really need to go for it.
I said before the game as well that Barry Ferguson, I expected much more in terms of commitment, responsibility, all the things that we spoke about was there in the second half against Kilmarnock. I expected more of that, but I did say the big question marks over Barry Ferguson due to his inexperience will be tactically. How do you change things in game? Can you spot things? Can you fix things? So this is another huge test for him.
There's just no intensity, and for Motherwell, if they can hang on and do the business here today, what a start for Michael Wimmer, Stephen.
Well, they're drifting towards half-time and they're desperate to get there 2-0. We've gone just over 50 minutes in this first half. Rangers have a free kick in this left-hand side, but and normally when a manager comes in and they want to stamp their authority in the team, it can normally take 5 or 6 games or 7 games to do that, or you get a pre-season to do it. He hasn't had that chance, but already within 3 games you can see what they're trying to do and what they're wanting to do. Yes, they're making mistakes and they're making the wrong choices, but at least he can see what they're trying to do, and when it comes off, it's very, very good. So it'll all be about being selective with regards to those moments, playing square in the midfield, playing straight into midfield. You've got to make sure you get it right, and you don't do it every single time.
Queen of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Lewis Moore in first half stoppage time there. Just confirmation of Stuart McKinstry with that goal check down there at Hugh Douglas Park.
Sorry, Kenny, half time here at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Motherwell 2 as the boos ring out.
Yeah.
It's 2-1. It's half time here at New Douglas Park. 2-1. Incidentally, it was Stuart McKinstry with that second goal. I'm a bit baffled because there were major injuries in that game, and there was that huge stoppage.
Yeah.
Wasn't a stoppage. The game didn't start for 6 minutes behind schedule, and my clocks tell me that we still only played about 42 minutes. I'm not quite sure what has happened. For me, this game should still be being played. The stoppages, the late start, I don't know, but it's half time and it's 2-1 to Hamilton Accies.
Yeah, plenty of drama in the Championship as always. Plenty more to come on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. A reminder, we are on the telly today, BBC One, from 4:30 until 5:25, and when the 3 o'clock games are done and dusted, of course we'll bring you reaction to that from the pundits and of course as many managers as we can fit in as possible, and then we'll start to build up to our second commentary match of the day. That one comes from Paisley tonight, St Mirren against Celtic. That one kicks off at 5:30, so plenty more to come on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Chance, and it's a goal! Oh, what a goal!
All the action from all the biggest games.
Oh, it's the second goal!
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Just 3 games in the top flight kicked off at 3 o'clock this afternoon, but no shortage of drama, particularly at Ibrox. Let's get to our commentary team there of Ian McCall and Thomas Duncan.
Yeah, Kenny, I'm sure Barry Ferguson is already getting sick in his short time of Rangers manager, is going 2 goals down after just about half an hour, because that's what's happened here at Ibrox. Motherwell have been excellent, Rangers not so much. The visiting sides just been disciplined when they've needed to be, and then when they have had the ball, they've been really efficient in getting forward, and they've had 3 really good chances and have taken 2 of them crucially. First goal, 9 minutes, and it comes from a mistake. Well, 2 mistakes really. First, Butland rolls it out to Dessers as he looked to counter quickly. Dessers took a poor touch, he was robbed. It breaks for Casey on the edge of the box. He puts a fairly tame shot in at Butland, but he spills it and it rolls across the box, and Luke Armstrong reacted really well to tap in his second Motherwell goal in his short spell at the club. It was ruled out on the pitch. The linesman's flag on this near side was up very quickly indeed, but VAR Gavin Duncan had a second look, drew the lines and saw that in fact it was onside. The goal was given and Motherwell were 1 up after 9 minutes, and it would get even better for Michael Wimmer and his side just at the half-hour mark. It was really nice football up the left-hand side, really good passing. Lennon Miller was involved. He gave it to Slattery, who laid in Tom Sparrow, who had put one in the side netting from a similar position not long before. This time he made no mistake. He was a bit more infield, controlled it and slotted it low beyond Jack Butland, who didn't really have any chance with it. It was a brilliant finish, and as you can imagine, this place, which was pretty buoyant pre-match, Barry Ferguson came out, he was announced to the crowds, it was very warm, it was very energetic, and very quickly it turned very flat, as it has been a lot recently for Rangers, and currently facing a 3rd straight home defeat, and they have not fashioned too many clear-cut chances. Dessers had one at the back post, which was a difficult one to take. He put it into the side net, and Diamondes had the shot tipped over as well. There have been another couple of efforts which Balcom has had to deal with, but nothing too gilt-edged from a Rangers point of view, Ian McCall, and you could hear the boos ringing out at half-time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the first goal is a killer for Rangers, obviously. And first of all, you've got to give Motherwell all sorts of credit because they've been really aggressive in how they've played the game. Their anticipation of second balls in the middle of the pitch and how to get up in the game, how to get up in your opponent was just miles ahead of Rangers. And one of their game plans, quite obviously, is to utilise the space behind Jeffrey counter Robin Propper's lack of pace down that side, and they've got in there the whole day. And there's another every time the ball goes in for Rangers, they're not getting enough players into position where they can score a goal.
Yep, and Rangers are going to have to try and come from 2 down for the second game in a row if they want to avoid a third straight home defeat, which hasn't happened since 2012, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you to the guys there. There's the option of full second half commentary to come from that game at Ibrox. Stephen Craigan is on Open All Mike's duty for us. From a Motherwell perspective, Stephen, thoroughly deserving of their advantage at the break?
Yeah, well, I think they've been clinical, certainly when the opportunities have been presented to them, and that's always the one issue when you come to one of the bigger venues. First of all, is creating the chances. You don't normally get many of them, but then when they do arrive, can you be clinical? Can you put them away? And they've absolutely done that today, and they've grown in confidence since then. Their belief in possession of the ball, they've just made a couple of individual errors with regards to their passing choices. They're maybe trying to overplay too much because they're feeling that good about themselves. So they want to try and keep it at nil with regards from defending perspective as long as they possibly can, just to add to the restlessness and the uneasiness that's reverberating around this stadium. Because if Rangers get a quick goal after half time, suddenly the whole momentum starts to change. But Michael Wimmer will be absolutely delighted with his players. It's been a tough week for them physically without the ball, and with the ball they've had to put so much effort in because he's trying to change their style of play. But they're certainly in a good place, but this game isn't over yet.
Certainly fantastic so far for Motherwell. Of course, Hearts play tomorrow, but Motherwell right now, looking at the live table, they are back into the top 6. We will now focus on the game down at the bottom of the table. Willie Miller is at Dens Park for us. Dundee against St Johnstone. The half-time report, Willie.
Yeah, Kenny, it's 1-1 here at half-time, and I was expecting more urgency about this game. There hasn't been that. There hasn't been too many opportunities. The calmest team is definitely St Johnstone, and Dundee have not really been anywhere close to being the team that was that Tony Docherty had put together. It took until round about the 30-minute mark until an opportunity was actually created, and it was a really excellent chance for St Johnstone. Adamas Sidibe should have found the back of the net. Fantastic work by Dre Wright down the left-hand side. Hits the byline, cuts it back with pace. The striker is unmarked. All he has to do is open up his foot, get the side foot on it and slot it into the back of the net. He takes this enormous backswing, a huge swipe at the ball, trying to take the net off the back of the goals. Almost misses it completely. It has a little contact on it and it just falls for Carson in goals. But St Johnstone did take the lead, and it was a peach of a goal. Sam Curtis down the right hand side, gets his head up, he sees Mackenzie Kirk running towards the near post. He clips it on to the striker's head, and with the forehead he just glides it into the far top corner, giving the goalkeeper no chance whatsoever. You would have thought if they'd have held on to half time that would have given them confidence, come out in the second half and take this game once again to Dundee, but that didn't happen. It was 43 minutes, only 3 minutes after that goal that Dundee got the equaliser. It was Donnelly with the long throw-in. Shaughnessy flicks on, very simple set-piece goal, and there was Simon Murray at the back post just to nod it into the back of the net. So very even here at half-time, although I think that St Johnstone have just edged it. It's 1-1 at Dens.
Thanks to Willie Miller. Next up, Dingwall. Ross County at home to Kilmarnock. Let's hear from John Robertson.
Yeah, in half-time in the Highlands, it's Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0. Not a lot going on here in terms of proactive football, good football. It's been a real battle. There's no doubt Kilmarnock certainly started the brighter side. They were very sharp, and David Watts in particular was causing problems, not through good play, but his long throw-ins. He was launching them into the box in the penalty spot, and one such throw-in landed at the feet of Brad Lyons, where he's back to goal. He tried to manipulate an overhead kick, it just floated over the bar, but then the big chances came for Kilmarnock after 15 minutes, and it was Route 1 football. Kieran O'Hara just kicked one out of his hands right down the length of the park. It wasn't dealt with Tompkinson, and that allowed Marley Watkins to run through. He smashed one from 12 yards, which Amisa beat out right back to the striker. He smashed a second one from about 8 yards, and once more the big Ross County goalkeeper parried it away. That was about it in terms of chances for Kilmarnock. Ross County didn't actually create any much more themselves. Their first attack of the game, 35 minutes, the ball was played over the top. It was poor defending from Wright. He allowed John White to get in behind him, and he tried to get back to him, and O'Hara came out. They all kind of collided. The ball popped over the three of them, and it was a foot race to get into the box between the aforementioned Wright and Kieran Phillips, and it was Phillips who managed to get there. Wright smashing the ball against him. The ball ended up in the roof of the net, and Ross County were in the lead. It reverted back to the first 15 minutes, Kilmarnock on top, but not creating any chances whatsoever. Lots of perspiration, little inspiration, but Ross County don't care. At half-time in the Highlands, it's Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Thanks to John Robertson. So in the top flight, 3 o'clock kickoffs, Dundee 1, St Johnstone 1, Rangers 0, Motherwell 2, Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0, 5:30 start, St Mirren at home to Celtic. Full coverage to come right here on BBC Radio Scotland. We're covering 3 games in the Championship this afternoon. First stop, New Douglas Park, Hamilton Accies at home to Falkirk. Let's get the latest from Chick Young.
Yeah, half-time situation. Accies 2, Falkirk 1, and it's all getting very interesting at the top of this championship race as we stand. Falkirk remain top, 53 points, but only in goal difference from Livingston, and just 2 points ahead of Ayr United. Now they both played 26 games. Livingston 27. It's Accies who have breezed their pain at the bottom of the league by, at the moment, leading here by 2-1. As I said, Liam Henderson with a magnificent header for the Bairns after 20 minutes. Corner on the right hand side, swung across, saw it coming a long way out. He just headed that ball beyond Dean Linus, but Accies got themselves back into it with 2 fantastic goals. Regan Tumulty with a drive, a curling drive from about 30 or maybe 25 to 30 yards. I saw it swerving beyond Nicky Hoddard, and then in the wake of that, what a strike from Stuart McKinstry out on the left hand side, and absolutely shelled it into the back of the Falkirk net to give Accies a 2-1 lead. This game was held up for 5 minutes while they dealt with some firecrackers thrown from the Falkirk Ultra as well. The firecrackers are coming from Hamilton Accies in a football sense this afternoon. It's a great game, great entertainment. This championship always delivers, Kenny. Half time here at New Douglas Park is Accies 2, Falkirk 1.
Thanks to Chick Young, certainly it's delivering down at Somerset Park for the home side. Ayr United against Airdrie there for us, Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, we're a few minutes into the second half, Kenny. Ayr United 3, Airdrie 0. It's fair to say that the bounce back ability that Scott Brown was talking about has been emphatic down here. Quite simply, Airdrie can't cope with the physical presence of Oakley and Main up front. They can't cope with the quality of McLennan and Roos in midfield, and they definitely can't cope with the deliveries of Jay Henderson, which have had a hand in all 3 goals. Curtis Main's opened his account. George Oakley's got his 16th of the season, and George Stanger's got in the act as well. So it's a good day if you're called George down at Somerset Park. Ayr 3, Airdrie 0 at the moment.
Thanks to Kenny Crawford. Next stop, Starts Park. Raith Rovers are home to Queen's Park. There for us is Alan Preston.
Well, it's 1-0 with Queen's Park, Kenny. We're into the second half, but the only goal of the match came in 28 minutes. Paul Hanlon in his own box, dilly-dallied on the ball. Rhodes took it off him and rolled it to Zach Rudden, who had the simplest task from 7 yards just to roll it into the back of the net. We almost got a second, and Queen's second, Rudden 7 minutes later with a right foot effort just over the top of the crossbar. Hanlon tried to redeem himself with a header, but straight at Ferry, and we're into the second half, and I've just seen a wonderful save again from Callum Ferry. Jamie Gullen, who's back from his he was over in Ireland for a spell. He hit a free kick from 25 yards and Ferry's tipped it onto the bar, and they've scored as a second goal for Queen's Park. 2-0 it is. That's a big goal, massive goal. Adam Devine it is, on loan from Rangers. They were never really in it, as I'm just saying about that save from Gullen. Free kick tipped onto the bar. Raith Rovers go up the park, Queen's Park go up the park. It's played to Adam Devine. He swivels and turns with his left foot and goes in off the post into the back of the net. They've doubled their lead. Raith Rovers 0, Queen's Park 2.
Thanks, Alan Preston. So in the Championship, Ayr United 3, Airdrie 0, Dunfermline Athletic 0, Morton 1, Hamilton Accies 2, Falkirk 1, and as I've just been hearing, Raith Rovers 0, Queen's Park 2 in League 1 this afternoon. Alloa Athletic 0, Cove Rangers 1, Arbroath 1, Annan Athletic 0, Dumbarton 0, Stenhousemuir 3, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Montrose 1, Queen of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1 in League 2. Stranraer have just scored away at Edinburgh City, so 1-0 to Stranraer in that one. Forfar Athletic 0, Clyde 0, Peterhead 1, Elgin City 0, Spartans 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Stirling Albion 0, the leaders East 5-0. So once the second half gets underway, we'll cross to live commentary again from that game at Ibrox. A real story developing once again in that ground this afternoon. Motherwell, can they hang on and take 3 points there, following on from St Mirren's fantastic victory there last Saturday? While we wait on that game getting back underway, let's get back around the grounds. Let's get to Willie Miller at Dens Park. Back underway there, Willie?
It is, yeah. I've been on the go now for about 3 or 4 minutes. Nothing to report in the second half, other than there was one change. Dundee made the change. Mo Silla come off at half time, and Finlay Robertson come on to give them a little bit more control.
Oh, brilliant save. What a save that is. Sorry, Willie. Zach Ruddin's played through. This would have been the game over. Keeper makes himself big. Josh Ray. Ruddin's through inside the box. Hits it straight at the goalie. Almost 3-0.
Yeah, I can see Barry Ferguson making changes at Ibrox. We'll get details of that just shortly. Time again for a choice of listening on sports.
It's 3-0.
Right, take it away, Alan, quickly.
What a goal that is. Well, I've seen some goals today. This time it's Adam Montgomery with a Rangers player and a Celtic player scored goals. He cuts into his right foot and he rifles it. That is right in the postage stamp. It hits the bar in the post at the same time and bounces home. This game looks to be done.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be quick here.
Queen's Park 3.
Goals flying in, so choice of listening once again on sports, and stick with us on BBC Sounds 92 to 95 FM for open all mics. For full commentary of Rangers against Motherwell, tune to Radio Scotland Extra, Digital and 810 Media Wave, and both options available online, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Welcome back to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. Just to confirm a couple of the goals that have just gone in the past few minutes. As Alan was telling us, a quick fire double there for Queen's Park. We away at Wraith Rovers. Edinburgh City 0, Stranraer 1. Craig Ross with that goal on 49 minutes. Forfar Athletic 0, Clyde 1. Craig Howie on 52. Stephen Craigan is on Open All Mics duty for us at Ibrox this afternoon, as I was hinting at the home manager making some changes, Stephen.
Yeah, he's made a triple substitution, Kenny. Absolutely no surprise whatsoever. Leon Balogun is back onto the pitch. Tom Lawrence has come on, and Bayrami has come on. Off has gone Robin Proper. So the centre-half partnership is now James Tavernier and Leon Balogun. Hadji has gone off, no surprise either. I just thought he was lifeless. He brought absolutely nothing to the game. And Egeman, who has been one of Rangers' best players in recent times, he has gone off as well. So Barry Ferguson has rolled the dice. He now needs a response, not from just the players who have come on, but also the players who have remained on.
Yeah, it's an important early stage of the half, isn't it, for Motherwell, Rory, just to get settled again and just stay 2-0 ahead, get the home fans more frustrated.
Really important. First 10-15 minutes of the second half is really important, but what you won't want to do is in the first 10-15 minutes to avoid conceding, to drop too far back, because they've had more than enough of this game to believe they can keep doing what they're doing and go and get a third goal. They don't want to get in the mindset of protecting their lead too early. They will get to that stage, but it's not just yet. I am surprised Egeman's went off. I know he's not given much, but he's capable of producing something out of nothing. Dessers against Kilmarnock scored 2 really good goals, but did nothing other than that. I can understand why he would be kept on completely. I just would have given Egeman another 10-15 minutes before making that substitution personally. But from a Motherwell point of view, absolutely. They'll fancy their chances of going on and getting a third, I think.
Yeah, just seen some pictures, Leanne, there of Barry Ferguson on the touchline. It's a big 45 minutes or so for him, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think it probably just shows you as well the level that this Rangers squad are at. I don't know what Craggs is thinking watching the game, but certainly the pictures that are coming in, if you're so solely reliant on the energy coming for the side of the park to stimulate you and motivate you and drive you and force you to press, there's big problems, and that's what it looks like watching here. There's a lot of energy for the side of the park and not at times an awful lot of energy on the pitch. But yeah, massive 45. He'll be doing well, Barry Ferguson, if he can go and replicate Wednesday night, that's for sure, because it was a different type of game. And Wednesday night, certainly getting the goal back, I think, before half time was pivotal as well. I think that then changes it. I also think the surface at Rugby Park changes it, and it allows you to probably feel that you need to be a bit more direct and more turnovers and more aggressive. I just think at Ibrox it's too easy just to be in a shape and move the ball. Very little urgency.
Dumbarton pulled a goal back at home to Stenhousemuir. Carlo Pignatello with that goal in 54 minutes. Dumbarton 1, Steny 3. Let's go back to John Roberts in the game in Dingwall. It needs to be a whole lot better for the wayside there, John.
It's not a great game at all, to be honest, but there's a wee chance here as you join us. Ross County are moving into the box, Nisbet. Oh, it's just minor. The quality's been poor. It's not been a great game. It's been very bitty, quite physical at times, but no, I'd say there's another chance for County. No. The best chance of the game came, as you said earlier on, for Barley Watkins after 15 minutes. He had a double save from Amisa, and then County scored a very, very scrappy goal. They'll no care. They're ahead, and it's to say, right now, they're sitting on the tails of Hearts and Motherwell for a top 6 place, which is exactly what Don Cowell want. Kilmarnock, they've just not been at it. It's been very un-Kilmarnock-like. I know he's played there before, but Ndaba doesn't look right in the middle of the park at all. The back three look solid enough, but Ndaba in there, just the game's passing them by. There's been no build-up play for them to create a chance. I say that the only chance that came from a long O'Hara ball. But they're going to have to pick it up if they're going to put anything from this game. But as we know, we tend to get some late drama in Dingwall.
John, a bit of drama at Somerset Park, Kenny, because out of nothing, Airdrie have won a penalty, and it was totally self-inflicted by George Stanger. He took too many chances there, United defender in the box, tried to walk it out, tried to take it round Aaron Reid. He was dispossessed and then pushed Aaron Reid over, and Ewan Anderson, the ref, has pointed to the spot. So a chance for Airdrie through Ben Wilson in a little moment, the Northern Irish striker, to get back in this game. I'll butt back in when he's about to take it.
Absolutely. Somebody else was going to jump in there.
Yeah, I was just going to ask John about the pitch, just based on the comments of Davy Martindale last night talking about getting rid of grass pitches and bringing down AstroTurf pitches. I know Dingwall's suffered because of the weather and it's further north.
Don't say it, and Alan Preston's on the line as well. You'll get him riled up. But listen, it's similar to Perth. It's took a hell of a beating over the month, kind of December into January. It was flooded, it was snow, it's had everything. It's one of these bits, it's quite a dead pitch at the moment.
Ben Wilson's running up, John, sorry to interrupt, but Ben Wilson's about to get this penalty, looking for his 15th of the season for Airdrie, and scores it, rolls it into the bottom right hand corner. The Diamonds have been given away back into this match. Ayr United 3, Airdrie 1.
It's cutting up a little bit, Steve, but it's not I wouldn't say it was as bad as the Partick Thistle pitch last night, that's for sure.
Spartans 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0. Jamie Dishington on 54 minutes. Peterhead 2, Elgin City 0. Kieran Shanks on 53. Willie, the most bizarre thing you've seen in all your time in the game?
Probably we were over, I think it was Bulgaria, and we were all presented with a bunch of roses before the game, and a jazz band played for 90 minutes at the side of the pitch.
90 minutes?
90 minutes. We all thought it was the entertainment for the fans, and they played for 90 minutes. Kenny Ball and his jazz band played for 90 minutes.
Always a story from Willie. Fantastic. Stirling Albion 1, East 5-0. Dale Hilson with that one on 58 minutes. Either of you two got a wee story in the studio?
Can't think, Kenny, if I'm being honest.
I'll give you one,
right,
Kenny. Jim McLean. Jim McLean was going mental for a change.
Oh, I can tell you ones about Jim McLean, all right.
and he kicked a crate that had it was empty. It was an empty crate, and his foot went right through it, and he couldn't get it off his foot, and he kept shooting and was going mental. And Ralphie Mould had tucked his ears right inside his earlobes, and honestly, he couldn't stop laughing, and Jim was slaughtering him, trying to get this crate off his foot.
Oh my goodness!
What's going on?
Oh, he was offside. Tom Thompson got played in down the left-hand side again. The Rangers defence completely opened up. Lennon Miller drove through from midfield. It was a 3v2 in Motherwell's favour. Lennon Miller plays it wide to Tom Thompson on the left-hand side. He has to square it for me.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
For Callum Slattery to tap it in. He goes for the shot and Butland saves it. I think what saves Dom Thompson is the referee's assistant flag goes up. So he's ruled out offside. But Motherwell coming closest in the second half, still 2-0 to the home team. The away team.
That's the type of chance, though, Craigs, isn't it? If it's onside and he misses that, it could be a turning point in the game if Rangers were actually able to get themselves back in the game, by going and getting a goal, because it was just a simple cutback, as you say. Just square it, just get a tap in. Also keep yourself on side.
A wee bizarre memory from Somerset Park, a game I covered in 2017. Does anyone remember when Ryan Stevenson had to go in goals for Wraith Rovers? Wraith Rovers didn't have an eligible goalkeeper to play, and they were down here at Ayr United, and he had to go in goals for the full game, and Ayr only won 1-0 to his credit.
Was Yogi involved? He was
the manager at the time, yeah.
I remember speaking
that's
from that
the
day.
SFA for a dispensation to sign a keeper and the refuse.
That's right, that's a good one. I do remember that. I remember speaking to him on the way down to the game. That's an interesting one there from Kenny. What, in terms of the game you've got down there this afternoon, Ayr a slight lifeline, Kenny, but it sounds as if the home side have been very impressive.
Yeah, they've been really good, and I think Scott Brown, he was raging when he saw what George Stanger did at the back there, just gifting Airdrie that penalty in that way back into the match. But just the way the whole...
Dessers! He's got a goal! Cyril Dessers 2-1. I'd said it would have to come down to an individual error, a misjudging from Motherwell. I think it's Dan Casey. He doesn't know where to kick it or use his stand, does neither, and it just bounces through. Liam Gordon doesn't pick him up, and it's a snapshot from Cyril Dessers about 8 or 9 yards out, right through the hands of Ellery Balcombe, and Rangers have got a goal. It's Rangers 1, Motherwell 2.
We're waiting for Dodgy to appear any minute from that dugout there. Neil McCann straight out. Barry Ferguson are very animated now, Leanne. It was a dreadful error.
Well, it is a dreadful error. It's the type of lifeline that you need, though, when you're in this type of form, conceding the types of goals that Rangers are. But I just mentioned that, I mean, just a lapse in concentration, isn't it? Dessers is alive to it, though, and for every bit of stick that he takes, and I've heard a lot of people, defend Cyril Dessers this week with the goals that he scored and his performance. Certainly Rory, you would have seen it as well Wednesday night. The goals, certainly his second goal, the finish with the ball over the top and the lovely side footer. He always tries to show up, you would need to say, for Rangers.
Double save up here from Jordan Amisa. First of Brad Lyons, cross shot, he padded it away. It came to Murray at the other side. Fraser Murray, he smashed one, saved again. Signs of life from Kilmarnock, but no goals as yet. Still 1-0 County.
Kenny, you mentioned the word bizarre in the stories. I played in the Dundee derby at Tannadice for Dundee one night.
Pass back here, guys. We've got indirect free kick for Dundee, centre of the goal. Some 6, 7, 8 yards out from the goal line.
Oh dear, so it is, Willie.
So everybody's going to be in the goal line. This is an interesting one.
This is a bizarre moment in itself.
2 penalty spots we've got. We've got one, the usual.
Can the ball even go far enough back?
You need to move the ball twice. Because everybody runs at the first touch. You need to move it twice here.
Well, try to tell Simon Murray that. It might be in his mind, but it looks as though he's going to blast
He's thinking about his celebration already.
Woof! Nothing. You're right. He should have had that second pass. Because it was all blue jerseys behind the ball on the line. They just rushed out. Simon Murray drills it low and it's blocked.
You notice as well, Willie, in those occasions the player fakes to pass it to try and trick the defenders, but Simon Murray's got no idea when he's actually going to let off.
Absolutely.
So that goal for Rangers, Cyril Dessers in 54 minutes. Rangers 1, Motherwell 2. Dunfermline have equalised at home to Morton. Chris Kane on 60 minutes. That is 1 apiece there.
Yeah, I was just saying we were playing up at Tannadice one night. You remember James McPake scored in the very last kick of the ball to make it 2 each. I don't know if you remember that game, but we were 2-1 down. We were 2-0 down. We came back, so it's 92nd, 93rd minute. It was the year Dundee United got relegated. They went on an awful run after that. And that night, Nicky Lowe had bashed his foot before the game, and Paul Hartley had said, you put some steak around it, the steak that you would get, like really thin steak, and that's meant to protect it because he'd kicked the bottom of somebody's studs, right? So Nicky Lowe went and done this, right? So he's got a full steak wrapped around his foot. So he's come on as a sub. He's been involved in the winner. He's ran over to the crowd. Everybody's ran over to the crowd. People were throwing drinks and everything. I was covered in coke. And back in the changing room afterwards, I just remember the music going, being covered in coke, Coca-Cola, and Nicky Lowe taking his boot off. By this point, the steak's nearly well done. and throwing it around the dressing room. That was very bizarre.
Do you know what? Some of the stuff that goes on in football, never.
Certainly a fillet.
You wouldn't waste a fillet, would you?
No.
Right, changes.
Kenny, yeah.
So
Hector Ross a long run down the left side, breaks a lot of ground. He's getting very, very near the 18-yard box. There's a push in his back. And he had an Olympic dive through the air about 3 yards to land in the box. John McDonald would have been proud of that back in the day for Rangers. He landed in the box, but he hasn't got a penalty.
What a save!
Kick to Falkirk.
Yeah, John.
Oh! Well, Derek McInnes has just rang the changes. He's seen enough. He's taken 3 men off. He's taken off Watson, Murray and Polworth, and he's brought on McGuinness, Armstrong and Wales, and right away Armstrong had a brilliant strike that was smashed away from 18 yards. Amisa again parried it out. It fell out to Watkins. He had another shot, was blocked on the 6-yard lines. Kilmarnock are pushing. They're still behind.
I know he's a young player, John, but surprised, and the pitch maybe isn't conducive to the way he plays. He's technically very good, but I'm surprised he didn't start with Bobby Wales today. I think he's a game changer.
He didn't start who?
Bobby Wales. Derek McInnes.
I think, did he not say earlier in the week though he was trying to still manage his minutes or something like that? He was a really talented lad, but I'm with you on that one and say, because to be fair, Anderson, let's be honest here, they've had absolutely no service whatsoever. Their only chance in the first half came from a long kick out from their goalkeeper.
He relies on the service where Bobby Wales can do something.
Yeah,
without it.
I think the three that brought on, look, you look at the chance. He's kept Marley Watkins on up top, and but he's brought on three guys who can create and possibly take chances here, because there was no creativity at all in the first half. As I say, the only chance they made was a long throw-in, which there was a speculative at best effort from Brad Lyons, and a long kick from the goalkeeper. But they've created more in that 30 seconds, these guys coming on, than after the rest of the match. County have only had one chance and they've scored it.
John, see down here at Somerset Park, we've got Jay Henderson assisting absolutely everything almost every game.
He was
on loan from Ross County. On loan, what do you think they're aware of how well he's doing?
No, they'll be aware, but he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit into Don Cowie's preferred system. Don plays 5-3-2 or 3-5-2. Jay's a winger. Yeah, I mean, I know United have played him up front and off the front at times, but he's predominantly a winger with a wonderful cross. He needs to be playing in a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, getting that way. A bit like you saw last night, some wonderful crosses from Logan Chalmers in the Partick Thistle game. That's the type of boy that Jay Henderson is. He just doesn't suit the side. That County don't have wingers. It's as simple as that. If you look at the makeup of their squad, they've got about 5 centre backs, they've got 4 wing backs. They've got 5 or 6 central midfield players, and they've got 4 or 5 really good strikers, because the boy in the squad at the moment who could play wide is a young lad, George Robertson, who is really quick and direct, but again, Don's been putting him through the middle, occasionally chasing the game. He'll maybe resort to a 3-4-3, but he doesn't really play with wingers, so I think Jay will move on to where, I don't know, he might come up with United, and United might want to stay.
Was that a wee chance a few minutes ago there at Ibrox for the home side, Stephen?
Yeah, it was Vaclav Cherney actually just on the edge of the box just there as you come in, Kenny. But Rangers have certainly been pushing. I think the little tactical change that they've made again, the coaching staff, they're playing Tom Lawrence in as a number 10. So in possession, he's going to go and join Cyril Dessers. Out of possession, he's going to drop back in and be a point of midfield, just to give him an extra body in there so Motherwell aren't dominating the ball as much in that area. So that certainly made a change by Rami off the left-hand side. He had actually cut in from the left-hand side onto his favoured right foot, had a shot that bounced awkwardly in front of Ellery Balcom about 3 or 4 minutes ago. He just managed to palm it away for a corner kick. Nothing came off it, but Michael Bimmer is now making his substitutions. He's now made a triple change. You just need energy. It was the same the other night. It got to about 60 minutes and he started to retreat. They started to drop deep. The legs were starting to get a little bit heavy. Swandy Halliday's came off. Callum Stadlery's came off. Luke Armstrong's came off. Moses has came on. Davor Zdravkovsky's came on, and Harry Payton have come on just to bring a little bit more energy to the team to try and get them up the pitch.
What's happening now at Dens Park? Willie Miller, a big game there this afternoon.
Yeah, Dundee have been the better team in the second half, Kenny. They've had the bulk of possession. There hasn't been too many clear-cut opportunities for either side, but they've certainly dominated the possession. I think Finlay Robertson coming on and playing in the midfield area has given them a bit more culture in there and a bit more control of the game. I wouldn't discount St Johnstone, beg your pardon.
Sorry to interrupt you, Willie. Leanne, one for you here. There's a County player going down over the far side holding his face, and the County fans were not happy about it. It's big Jordan White. Is there anything doing there? The referee seems to have taken one in the gub, as they say. Yeah, we'll wait and hopefully get a closer look. I do see Jordan White on the grass just now, Robbo. Certainly the pictures that we've got not clear enough to see anything at the time. But David Dickinson, he's not. Just to see he went down, the County fans on the far side weren't happy, but you can see a change now from Kilmarnock. They've definitely changed their formation, and they've gone 4 up front. They're playing 3-3-4 and trying to get back in this game.
Yeah, very tight in that one. Let's get back to Chick. He is at New Douglas Park this afternoon. What's the latest there, Chick?
Well, the latest is a yellow card for Scott Arfield. And actually, what an impact he's made since he came back to Falkirk. 5 goals he's scored already, but he's been almost invisible in this game, I have to say. I forgot all about him there till that yellow card for dragging back an Accies player. There's a change getting made for Falkirk. Finn Yates is coming on to replace Dylan Tate by a double change, because also coming on is Alfredo Aguiman going off. Is that Ethan Ross is making way for him? In any case, it's still Hamilton with a grip in the game. Kenny, they're leading 2-1, and this is as ineffective as I've seen Falkirk in a while, to be honest with you. Still Accies 2-1 ahead.
Meanwhile, Ayr United cruising down at Somerset Park. Kenny Crawford.
Well, I would have said cruising 10 minutes ago, Kenny, but it's just got a little bit more restless for them. They are leading 3-1 against Airdrie, but that penalty that Airdrie scored, and Ben Wilson, really impressed with him. He's a real handful, 15 goals to the season, and he's really not given up the ghost even when they were 3-0 down. And he had a chance a few minutes ago, which Josh Clark saved well, to be fair to the new goalkeeper here, from close range, which would have made it 3-2, but that was denied. But yeah, I would say at the moment Airdrie are the more positive team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they've got another couple of chances to bring this game right to life. Ayr 3, Airdrie 1.
And what's happening at Starks Park, Alan Preston?
That's a cruise for the wayside. They're leading 3-0. Well, we've got 21 minutes left. Goals from Rudden, Devine and Montgomery. Raith had a couple of chances to fit the bar, but some brilliant goals from Queen's Park. So with 20 minutes to go now, it is Raith Rovers 0, Queen's Park 3.
Thank you to Alan Preston. We're going to be on the TV in the next couple of minutes. We'll be on BBC One from 4:30 until 5:25. A reminder from 5:30, our second commentary match of the day. That comes from Paisley. St Mirren at home to Celtic. St Mirren, of course, very good at Ibrox last weekend. They went ahead at Tynecastle during the week, but they were pegged back there. Yes, Alan?
It's another goal. What a goal that is again. It's a great ball. I'm just trying to see who scored that. I think it's Uzja who's got it. It's a header from about 7 yards, and this place is now going to... I'm going to be sitting them on shortly. There's not many Raith Rovers fans left. It's been a brilliant display from Callum Davidson's men. Really good. Great ball in. Good downward header.
Right, I'll give you quickly the scores before we go into the TV. Dundee 1, St Johnstone 1, Rangers 1, Motherwell 2, Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0. 5:30 start. St Mirren at home to Celtic. In the Championship, Ayr United 3, Airdrie 1, Dunfermline 1, Morton 1. The Pars down to 10 men there. Hamilton Accies 2, Falkirk 1. 4-0 now for Queen's Park away at Raith Rovers in League 1. Alloa 0, Cove Rangers 1. Arbroath have just gone 2-0 up at home to Annan Athletic. Dumbarton 1, Stenhousemuir 3, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Montrose 1, Cooney the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1. And in League 2 this afternoon, the latest scores for you: Edinburgh City 0, Stranraer 1, Forfar Athletic 0, Clyde 1, Peterhead 2, Elgin City 0, Spartans 2, Bonnie Rigrose 0, and Stirling Albion 1, the leaders East Fife 0. So a lot of these games very much in the balance. Plenty to play for. Andy Winter with that second goal for Arbroath. They lead Annan Athletic by 2-0 there at Gayfield. Welcome to viewers who have joined us on BBC One. It's another busy day across Scottish football. We've already witnessed lots of drama, plenty more to come, I'm sure. Leanne Crichton and Rory Loy are alongside me in the studio. Let's take a journey then around the grounds. First stop, Ibrox, Rangers at home to Motherwell. There for us, Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, it currently sits after 66 minutes, Kenny, is Rangers 1, Motherwell 2. Motherwell got their 2 goals within half hour. The first one, it was Luke Armstrong, tapped in after a blunder by Jack Butland in the Rangers goal. Tom Sparrow got a second in the half-hour mark after being slid in. A lovely little pass, weighted pass from Callum Slattery. So the Rangers fans weren't happy at half-time, but they've got a response in the second half. After 54 minutes, Cyril Dessers capitalised on an individual error by Dan Casey to make it 2-1. Both sides have made plenty of substitution to try and bring some energy and some creativity, but it's the visitors that still lead by 2-1 here at Ibrox.
Yeah, Motherwell very, very good in that first half. They've given a wee opening, Rory, to Rangers in the second period, but just not good enough for Barry Ferguson's side so far in this game.
No, they've come back and scored a goal down to a Motherwell mistake. I think it was Dan Casey at the back letting one through him. Dessers scores, but there's not the same intensity as there was down at Rugby Park during the week. That reaction from getting that goal back, they came out the second half all guns blazing and blew Kilmarnock away, to be totally honest. But despite being back in it and half in the deficit, they don't look at this moment in time like they're going to go on and hurt Motherwell, but still plenty of time left. But I think Motherwell are just as likely to score as Rangers at this point.
In League One, Athletic have equalised at home to Cove. Rangers in that game. Cove went ahead very early on. Next up, there's a huge game in terms of that relegation battle at the bottom of the top flight. The game's taking place at Dens Park. Dundee at home to St Johnstone. There for us is Willie Miller.
Yeah, Kenny, at Dens it's standing at 1-1. It's not been a game full of thrills and spills. It's been quite a low-key game, to be perfectly honest, considering what's at stake here. 2 goals in the first half, one big chance in the first half as well. That went to St Johnstone when Sidibe should have really found the back of the net after Dre Wright had went down the left-hand side. Sidibe on the strike just now, it was cut back to him, and instead of showing calmness and just putting the side foot through it, they tried to blast it and almost miskicked it completely. But 2 goals thereafter. Mackenzie Kirk, a really cultured header with Sam Curtis down the right hand side, clipped it to him. He's taken it on the forehead and guided it into the far corner, but in 43 minutes the score was level. It was Simon Murray, a long throw in, flick on it to Bishonessy, and Simon Murray at the back post. In the second half it's been mostly Dundee. They've had a lot of possession, done very little with it. St Johnstone are always looking calm though. They play some nice football as well, so it's all to play for. But deadlock just now at Dens, 1-1.
Yeah, we gave this one the big build-up, Leanne. Dundee, they've had terrible defensive issues this season. They've conceded the most goals in the league, and we were saying there's been a fair bit of momentum around St Johnstone in recent weeks.
Yep, St Johnstone, absolutely. They really have put it together, put a really decent run together, picking up some valuable points, none more so than midweek. I think that victory midweek certainly gave them an incentive this afternoon to make sure this might not be the type of game that they'll necessarily go on and win with a bit of comfort, but if you don't win these games you don't lose them either. And so far performance wise this afternoon, I think Mackenzie Kirk has been excellent for St Johnstone, grabbing the goal again. Dundee being pegged back right enough, showing a bit of character in response then to go and get themselves level and all to play for. It's going to be so tasty down at that bottom half of the table, it really is.
Yeah, and Kilmarnock could find themselves sucked in there. They are struggling away at Ross County this afternoon. There for us is John Robertson.
Yes, for Ayr United, that's game over now. I think it's Curtis Main with his second of the game. Cole McKinnon, the substitute on loan from Rangers, down the right hand side, giving Jay Henderson a rest from assisting. Put the ball across for Curtis Main, brilliantly taken first time into the top left hand corner. It showed he has Premiership quality there. Ayr United 4, Airdrie 1.
Thanks to Kenny Crawford there. A terrific battle, a 3-way battle at the top of the Championship table. Livingston drawing 1-1 away at Partick Thistle last night. Ayr United cruising now at home to Airdrie. Airdrie had some hope after that second half penalty from Ben Wilson, but Scott Brown's side totally in control of that one and surely on course for the 3 points. Let's get back to the top flight and get back to John Robertson in Dingwall.
Yeah, 75 minutes gone. It's still Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0. Kilmarnock certainly had all of the second half. It's all been about doubles. Jordan Amisa with a double save from Brad Lyons, and Fraser Murray before he followed that up with a save from Armstrong and Murray again. And it's just been Derek McInnes has thrown the 3 substitutes on. He's lost one of them, unfortunately. McGuinness has come on. Kel McGuinness, he's turned round in the dugout in front of him, seemed to get his foot caught in the line and twisted his knee, so he's been replaced by Matty Kennedy. Kilmarnock are going for it. They're playing a 3-3-4 formation, throwing bodies forward. Ross County, to their credit, they've had one shot at goal and they've scored, and that, as I say, that came way back in the 35th minute when Jordan White's shot went underneath Amisa, and as Mayo tried to clear it, it cannoned off Kieran Phillips and into the net. Ross County won't care. They still lead by a goal to nil, or on just about in touching distance of the top 6. So 1-0 County.
Back into the Championship, and with Ayr United cruising to victory down at Somerset Park, it could be a really poor afternoon for the league leaders. Falkirk there away at Hamilton Accies. There for us is Chick Young.
Nearly a third goal for the Accies. Great move. Scott Robinson setting that up as a got touched over the cross by Nicky Holgard. I have to say, this is not the Falkirk I've been watched in recent weeks. They've even I was talking about Scott Arfield, the manager John McGlynn is taking him off now, substitutes him, and a big disappointment for the massive travelling support from Falkirk behind the goal. They are now defending, and Hamilton Accies have another chance with a corner kick. They lead by 2-1, Kenny, and this could be a real upset
and a really joyous day for Ayr United. It's 2-1 to the Accies at the moment against Falkirk.
Thanks to Chick Young. A really tight contest there, but very much a one-sided game at Starks Park. Wraith Rovers at home to Queen's Park. Let's hear from Alan Preston.
It's been a brilliant away performance from Callum Davidson's Queen's Park. They took the lead in 28 minutes. Hanlon dilly-dallying on the ball in his own box. It's taken off him and it finds its way to Zach Rudden, who rolls it home from 7 yards. 1-0 at half-time. Into the second half, Jamie Gullen smashed the ball off the bar, but I think the keeper gets a brilliant touch on it, Callum Ferry. But Queen's Park go up the park, and then it's two lone fullbacks, one from Celtic, one from Rangers, who score the next 2 goals. First time it's Adam Devine on loan from Rangers, cuts inside onto his left foot, swivels and hits it into the bottom corner. 2 minutes later, it's Montgomery's chance on loan from Celtic. He cuts inside, and his right foot shot is totally unstoppable. It hit the junction of crossbar and post into the back of the net, and it was 4-0. Free kick in, and then Adjure gets a header 7 yards out. What a performance from Queen's Park. They're absolutely running riot here. Wraith Rovers have been dreadful. Score Wraith Rovers 0, Queen's Park 4.
Right, thanks, Alan Preston.
Yes. Bobby Wales got into the box, blasted across the goals, deflected off someone, I'm sure it was Campbell, and dribbled a bit of foot past the post. Kilmarnock are throwing the kitchen sink here at Ross County. They've gone back to the Czech Young formation, 2-3-5. They're playing here with 5 forwards against the 5 defenders, but they just cannot break Ross County down.
Yeah, what's been the problem for Kelly this afternoon, John? We discussed them before the programme. Rory's seen an awful lot of them this season. They've not been great. It's been a bit stop-start.
It's just probably a lack of belief, because they've had the better of the game, and say they're the best chance in the first half. The double save from Marley Watkins, and they've thrown everything at Ross County. Amissa's had 2 double saves. There's another shot came in from Armstrong and another shot from Anderson. So they've created enough chances to be at least, listen, they should be at least on level terms here. But Ross County are just defending manfully. They know how big a result this is. They're digging in, and so far they're holding firm.
Kenny, I said earlier on, the goals Kilmarnock concede, look what's separating the sides at the moment. Big game, it's 0-0. The goal is so scrappy. It's poor defending, and it's happened time and time again for Kilmarnock this season, and that is ultimately what the difference is in this huge game. And if Ross County do go on to win it, you'll look back at that goal and be seriously disappointed about how it was conceded.
Dunfermline are in front now at home to Morton. Chris Kane with the second of the game, that one coming on 79 minutes. Bonnyrigg Rose back in it away at Spartans. Murray Aitken with the goal on 79. Spartans 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 1. Let's get back to the game at Ibrox. Potentially another shock on the cards there. Stephen Craigan of the home side pushing.
They are, Kenny. I mean, they've showed a little bit more conviction, a little bit more urgency, but when you have someone like Václav Černý, who on his day we know can win a game, but just there's been so many lapses of concentration, where there's a heavy touch of the ball under his foot. I mean, there's only one probably about a minute ago right in front of the dugouts, and Barry Ferguson heads just dropped, because that's kind of epitomises where Rangers have been. Listen, they're still well in this game. There's 14 minutes to go. They're the team that's driving forward and in the ascendancy and trying to create the chances as they put a ball into the box. For Motherwell, they've made changes as well. Lennon Miller's gone off, and Danilo's also come on for Rangers. So Barry Ferguson once again has tried to go to his bench to try and make an impact, but at this moment Motherwell are holding firm. But when you have the quality Rangers have on some of the players, where they can change the game in an instant, Motherwell have to be careful.
Stephen, Barry Ferguson has spoken a lot this past week about aggression.
Really chance there, just that moment I'm talking about. Ball gets flicked into Danilo. It's a lovely little Cruyff turn, rolls it into the path of Cyril Dessers. He delays slightly, and Kofi Bammer right within the middle of the 18-yard box comes and just manages to clear it. Advanced shot, saved by Ellery Balcom. They're starting to crack on the pressure without really threatening Ellery Balcom.
Yeah, I mean, he's spoken a lot about intensity, about aggression. That's what we'd see from his Rangers team. It was sadly lacking in that first half, Stephen, but it seems to be a bit of an improvement in the second period.
Well, I think the goal just after half-time has given him that, Kenny. But Barry will soon learn, irrespective of what level you manage at, whether it's in League 2 where he was with Clyde or the Premiership with Rangers, you can talk about aggression, you can talk about tempo and intensity and how your team's going to play. But it's up to the players on the pitch to go out and do it. So he can only take them so far, then the responsibility falls among the players. They have to go and carry that out. They have to find that energy. They've got to find that spark.
Yes. And if you think the first goal that Kilmarnock conceded was bad, wait till you see this one. Alex Samuel on the pitch, Burricks his way into the box. They've got 2, 3, 4 chances to clear it. It drops on Noah Kenny. He knocks it past the keeper. It looks game over here in Dingwall. It's Ross County 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, it's really poor.
Off the post, Dundee off the post. Good break down the right hand side that was switched over to Tiffany on the left hand side. He gets it onto his right foot, tries to pick his spot at the near post. He's so unlucky. You see it rebound off of that near post. So on the break, Dundee having a big opportunity there. But unfortunately for them, it didn't find the back of the net.
Right, let's do that one first, Rory. When we look at that one, that chance for Dundee.
Yeah, Dundee looked like they've been slightly better in the second half. I know Willie said St Johnstone had the better of the first. I mean, what a massive goal it would be if any of these sides could go on and get a winner. St Johnstone would probably be back in that predicament where everyone has ruled them out in terms of being able to survive in the league if Dundee can get the goal, but it's still all to play for as we see another long throw going into the box.
Yeah, another
over
chance.
The bar, Tiffany. Yeah, a good work down the right hand side. The ball cut back again. It needs composure. It needs a bit of guile about it. Puts his left foot on it. He's leaning back. There's only one place that's going to go, and he drives it over the bar. So another big chance, 2 in quick succession for Scott Tiffany, but he hasn't taken any of them.
Right, let's get back.
To goal at Ibrox, but the flag has gone up. The assistant's flag has gone up for offside. I have to say, initially when the ball came in, I thought there was a little nudge from Cyril Dessers.
This goal may not count. The referee David Dickinson has been asked to check. It could be a possible foul. I don't know if you can see anything.
Yeah. Right, so much happening. Leanne, talk us through this one in
There was
Dingle.
a lot happening, Robbo. I would need to say, I'm not sure who the Kelly player was that went to ground, but looking for a free kick, it looked soft to me, I would need to say, unless in closer viewing there's a bit more contact initially, if that's the moment certainly that we're looking at. And what a lovely finish at Ibrox. We're just waiting for the referee at your game, Robert, to go to the screen. Dessers does really well. He looked offside, I would need to say.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you, Leanne. I think if Martin's got a little...
Kenny, you're seeing...
I think it'll come down to Craigs whether Danilo actually touches the ball or not.
No goal.
Oh wow,
it's quite a surprise looking at these pictures, Leanne, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to see that, Ken. I don't know if there is actually...
I don't know if Danilo touched it, sorry.
No, sorry, I know, just on that county goal that's been disallowed. I wonder if he's just trodden his foot and actually just stopped him moving at all, but it didn't look much, I would need to say.
I don't think Danilo touches the ball. Right. I just had a look at the replay. I'm not too sure Danilo touches the ball, which means this goal will stand.
Yep.
It should stand, not unless the referee sees something. I thought there was a little push.
Right, here we are here.
No, what happens, Kenny, is the ball's played forward from Ridvan, okay?
Right, so
it goes into Danilo, right? Dessers is in an offside position, so it'll come down to whether Danilo actually touches the ball or not, and I don't think he does.
They've given offside.
All right, okay.
They've given offside.
Maybe he does then.
So whether they haven't looked at that touch or whether they categorically can see there's been a touch, Rory, but I'm like you, haven't had a look at it, I can't see a clear touch.
Maybe it's the push, Craigs, that you speak about.
If they can't find the touch, the on-field decision has to stand.
Well,
right?
you say that, but look at what witnessed in the last week, Stephen. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't know, it'd be interesting if we get some wording on that.
Yeah, we'll try and get some guidance on that. So a big moment there at Ibrox. Also, just to recap, there's a lot happening there. That second goal for Ross County chopped off in Dingwall. Elsewhere, Inverness Cally Thistle back in level terms at home to Montrose. Keith Bray with that goal on 80 minutes. Alloa have turned things around at home to Cove Rangers. Cove scored very early on there, but Stefan Skugel on 84 minutes has Alloa back in front there now. Arbroath 3 and Athletic 0. Callum Gallagher with that goal on 87 minutes. Let's get back to Dens Park. A big game there at the bottom of the table. Let's get the latest from Willie Miller.
Yeah, it's the home side that's doing all the pushing. The home fans not too happy with the referee, but hey, it looked a foul to me as as the referee made that decision when Simon Murray was too effervescent within the box. Had these two opportunities, the Tiffany opportunities. The first one he did really well and was unlucky. It came to his left foot and he struck it and it's hit he puts it on his right foot down the left hand side and he strikes it and it comes off the post, and then he gets a great opportunity from the resulting corner. He's leaning back, puts it over the bar, but it's Dundee that's doing all the pressing. It's still 1-1. St Johnstone haven't been really at the races in the second half, but Dundee haven't created too many opportunities either. So I think it's up to the home side to find that touch that's going to actually get the 3 points here this afternoon. The fans are getting a little bit frustrated, as you can imagine. At this moment, it's still 1-1 here at Dens.
Yeah, Liam, with 4 minutes left to play, plus stoppage time, it's been a good few weeks for St John's. You think right now, Simo Valakari's taken the draw. They're still very much in touch. It's an away game out the way.
Yeah, that's my point, Kenny. I think if these types of games, if you can't win them, you just don't lose them. And a valuable point, certainly at this stage, looking at the position that St Johnstone were in, a number of games ago, they could have been well adrift by this afternoon, but they're not. They're there. They've put in some good performances. It's been a tiring week as well when you look at the midweek fixtures. A lot of energy in the legs, but so far they're looking good, and I just think that's all St Johnstone need to do. We've watched them. There's been many positive signs. We've asked questions over them defensively. Have they got enough to get out of the position that they're in? And I'm being honest, I said a couple of weeks ago, probably even echoed it on Wednesday night, that I didn't think they did. But they've went and proved me wrong, and I'm sure they'll continue to do that from now until the end of the season as they look to try and survive the automatic relegation.
It should have been an equaliser here. What a chance again for Kilmarnock. They've peppered the goal here. Ross County are throwing bodies absolutely all over the place. I think it was Bruce Anderson. What a chance. He just smashed across the goal and he smacked it past from 6 yards. Ross County are digging in and digging in. We're now into the 89th minute. And they're hanging in there. They've just thrown both. They've only been up the park twice. They've scored twice. One of them disallowed, but they've defended heroically. Kilmarnock have had chance after chance. And the sponsors obviously agree with that because Jordan Amisa, the goalkeeper, is one man of the match.
Yeah, we just seen Derek McInnes there, Rory, pictures of him pacing up and down in his technical area. This will be a very frustrating one for him this afternoon if they can't find that equaliser.
Yeah, it will be. And the fact that Ross County have had one shot on goal and managed to score is quite damning. I'll go back to it again. The standard of defending will frustrate them the most. On that chance there for Bruce Anderson, maybe being a former striker myself, I'm being a bit kind, but it does take a huge bobble, which makes it quite difficult for him to finish because you would want it to fall to Bruce Anderson. A couple of minutes to go. A goal would be huge for Kilmarnock. Wouldn't want Ross County to get 3 points further ahead of them. So, yeah, all to play for still, but time is running out.
Kenny, can I just say, Barry Ferguson made a sub a couple of minutes ago and it was Dujon Sterling to come on for Ridvan Yilmaz. Just a straight swap, Sterling go to right back. But he didn't have his jersey ready. It took a long time and Barry Ferguson was furious because he wasn't ready to come on. The first thing he does when he comes on the pitch, take a touch and pass the ball out of the park. So you can imagine, good save at the near post, Ellery Balcom. It's Danilo is playing down that right hand side, inside the box, has a shot, takes a deflection off Thompson, and Ellery Balcom pushes it wide. But just again, Barry Ferguson showing his frustration.
Yeah, and you can understand it, Rory. It's such a big day for him. We saw the pictures coming in pre-match. He was taking lots of selfies with the Rangers fans there. There was a lot of singing. James Tavernier got a presentation, his 500th game for Rangers today, but it's just all got a bit sour.
He's going to go
another
in.
chance, Stephen.
Oh, incredible. It's Danilo at the near post, or is it maybe Sterling at the near post, gets the flick. I think Liam Gordon heads it off the line. It looks like it's going to nestle in the net. Drops to James Tavernier about 10 yards out. It's on the volley. You just think he's got the technique. He's done this before, and he puts it high over the crossbar. And what you said, Kenny, is his 500th game. It's Rangers 1, Motherwell 2 still.
He needs to hit the target. It's a big chance. It really is. A lot of bodies in there. It's dropping really well. I think he rushes it, Rory. I think he's got a bit more time to just allow it to come out of there. There's nobody attacking him. The bodies are not leaving the box and moving towards him. Yep. He's made a real hash of it.
Doesn't even need captain. To catch it, right? Because it could hit off a body in front of him. There's several bodies in front of him, but yeah.
That's full time at Somerset Park. Convincing from Ayr United. 4-1 winners against the Airdrieonians.
Thanks to Kenny Crawford. The table is so tight. Ayr United played 26, 51 points. As things stand, Livingston played 27, 53 points. Falkirk played 26, 53 points. Let's get to their game now. Let's get back into the championship. They're at New Douglas Park this afternoon. They're away at Hamilton Accies. Let's get the latest from Chick Young.
Well, it's still a huge upset on the cards. It's still Hamilton Accies 2, the leaders Falkirk 1. It's been a desperation by both teams in this second half. Falkirk have been trying to back. All changes from both sides. 5 substitutions now from Hamilton Accies. They're hanging on to this. Remember, Ken, this is a big result for them as well in terms of pulling away at the bottom of the table. We have to wait and see how long's to left in this game. We've actually now played we've played 88 minutes now, Kenny, so there's a bit of time added on. It's Accies hanging on, but they have the occasional break because Falkirk are so many numbers up the park. Anything could happen. It's got that feel about it at the moment, but at the moment it is Accies 2, Falkirk 1. Big result for them and a big result for Ayr United.
It certainly is. We'll get there just
as well.
Yes, Alan.
Full time at Raith Rovers 0, Queen's Park very convincing, brilliant display, 4.
Yeah, that's a big result for Callum Davidson's side there at Starks Park. Rory, of course, Falkirk, one of your former clubs, they will remain top of the table this evening, but it's so tight. That's sounding like a very sore one for them today. They can't find that equaliser in the closing stages.
Yeah, look, it's a competitive league, and especially when it gets to a time of the season where you know how important the 3 points are, it can play in your mind slightly. I've been part of a title race in the Championship, and I know that when it gets to that stage it's a bit nervy, and the teams are so closely matched. I know Hamilton are further down the table, but they've not capitalised on Livingston dropping points last night, whereas Ayr have, and they've tightened things up again. And it's going to be very much a 3-horse race. It's just going to come down to the last day of the season, if you ask me.
Yeah, and very much Kenny Crawford, a statement win for Ayr down at Somerset Park this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right, Kenny. Full time 4, Ayr United 4, Ayr Dronians 1. The Honest Men have really reignited their title challenge in pretty convincing style. 3 goals in the first half. George Oakley's header is 16th of the season. George Stanger from close range, another header. And then Curtis Main, a neat finish from him, his first for the club. That was 3-0 at half time. Ayr gave Airdrie hope by gifting them a penalty, which Ben Wilson rolled in for his 15th of the season on 56 minutes, but then Ayr upped the ante again, and Curtis Main made it 4-1, his second of the game. A really nice finish from 12 yards. So Ayr stay third, but they're only 2 points behind Falkirk and Livy as things stand.
Right, let's just
full time at Dens, Kenny, 1-1.
Right, Willie, we'll just get a full time report from you in a second. Let's just wrap things up in the Championship. The game at Starks Park finished a convincing victory for the Wayside. Alan Preston.
Yeah, Queen's Park won by 4 goals to 0 against a poor Raith Rovers. Ruddin scored in the 28th minute, mistake by Hanlon. Ruddin pounced onto it.
It's unbelievable!
Chick Young.
It's an equaliser for Falkirk. Alfredo Aguiman came off the bench. A whole bench from Falkirk are on the pitch now. It was a shot originally from Miller Thompson. I thought it was going into the back of the net. The goalkeeper made a great save. Down to his left, got it around the post. Corner for Falkirk. Eventually, after a scramble, it comes out. The Falkirk fans behind the goal to my left are going absolutely crazy. Falkirk have pulled it back from the brink to get a point, at least you would think. 90 minutes have come and gone. We're into time added on. Remember, Liam Henderson put them ahead, but then 2 wonder goals from Regan Tumulty and Stuart McKinstry put the Ackies ahead, and we've just had that fantastic equaliser from Aguiman. There's a free kick now to Ackies outside the box, Kenny. They couldn't, could they? We're into time added on. There's always drama in this division. It's quite astonishing. Free kick to Ackies. I'll let you know if anything comes of that, but at the moment it's 2 each and we're into time added on.
Yeah, we love the Championship. Chicks, some amazing games there. Pretty much an amazing performance, Alan, just for your game there. The Wayside, Queen's Park, very dominant at Starks Park.
Yeah, Ruddin put them ahead, 28 minutes, 1-0 at half time into the second half. It was goals from Divine, Montgomery and Azure late on. Really brilliant performance from Queen's Park. Jamie Gullen hit the bar. Great save from Ferry, and the goals with a free kick. That was about it for Raith. Well beaten on the day. Final score, Raith Rovers 0, Queen's Park 4.
Right, we'll give you a full classified in a few minutes' time, but let's get to the game in Dingwall. John Robertson, full-time whistle has gone there.
Yeah, and it's finished. Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0. Kilmarnock will go down the A9 wondering how they didn't get at least a point out of this game, because Jordan Misa, the Ross County goalie, won man of the match. A double save from Marley Watkins early in the first half was the only note, but County took the lead with their only shot at goal in the first half. Jordan White got through after sloppy defending. He nicked it over the goalkeeper, and Mayo crashed the ball off Phillips into the back end to give them the lead. It was the same in the second half. Amisa had a double save from Lyons and Murray. He had a double save from Armstrong and Anderson. Anderson missed a chance just past the post before another opportunity came to strike at the best of the game. It was cut back by Armstrong. He's 6 yards out, it bowled, he knocked it past the post. County looked to have scored a second, but it was disallowed after the VAR check, after Noah Kenny put it in, and at the death Jordan White blazed one over. Kilmarnock had the chances, but County dug in and defended with sheer determination. It counter-lighted. County moved to within a point of the top 6. It finished in Dingwall. Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, great win for Don Cowie's side there. As John said, really frustrating afternoon once again for Derek McInnes. Let's get to the game at Dens Park, the one at the bottom of the table, and honours even there, Willie Miller.
Yeah, it finishes 1-1 here at Dens. First half, I thought St Johnstone just shaded it. They certainly had the best opportunity of the first half, 30 minutes, when Ray Wright goes down the left-hand side, gets his head up. He sees Sidibe making a really positive run, cuts it back, puts on a plate for the striker. The striker, he only needs to open up his foot and side foot it into the back of the net. Takes a wild swipe at it, almost misses the ball completely, and the chance was gone. But they did get the opening goal, 40 minutes. Well taken goal. Sam Curtis down the right hand side, again playing with his head up. He clips the ball from the right, fantastic cross, finds the head of Mackenzie Kirk, who guides it with the forehead into the far top corner to give St Johnstone at that time a deserved lead. But 3 minutes later, it's a Donnelly throw-in from the left. Shaughnessy flicks on, simple goal, set piece goal, and there is Simon Murray at the back post to nod it into the back of the net. Dundee were particularly dominant in the second half. St Johnstone didn't have many chances. Tiffany had 2 brilliant opportunities, one that he hit the post, little bit unlucky with the right foot strike, the other one he should have done better, leaning back from 12 yards, should have hit the target, put it over the bar. Lyle Cameron then has one from 20 yards that Fisher just touches over the bar. That's why it finished here at Dens 1-1.
Thanks to Will. There's 2 games still getting played. I think this thing stands.
That's it, Kenny.
There you are, Chick. Let's get to the game at New Douglas Park in the Championship. Chick Young.
Yeah, full time at New Douglas Park. What a game. And in fact, night at the end there, Falkirk, who remember were 2-1 down at one point, equalised, and they nearly grabbed it. And again, it was Aguiman with a strike. He really should have buried it. He'd really snatched it, put over the crossbar. But what a football match again in this championship. Falkirk ahead, Liam Henderson, 2 wonderful goals. In fact, all the goals this afternoon were sensational. Reagan Tumulty with a drive, a fantastic volley, and Stuart McKinsey with another arrow of a shot. And then it looked as if Accies would hang on to a dramatic victory, which would ease their worries at the bottom of the table. But no, Aguiman with a tremendous goal to make it 2 each. And as I said, he nearly grabbed it. So Hamilton Accies are dragged into it. Dunfermline now just a point behind them in the terms of the playoff place. Accies in 8th position, and Falkirk still at the top of the table, of course, but just a point ahead of Livingston with a game less played, and 3 points ahead of Ayr United now with them on level on games. Drama all the way in this championship, Kenny, trust me. Finished here, Hamilton 2, Falkirk 2.
Fantastic. We'll get the classifieds. We'll run through the table in a few minutes' time. The final whistle has just gone at Ibrox. Stephen Craigan, and a memorable win for Motherwell.
Yeah, Kenny, terrific performance all round for them. It finishes here, Rangers 1, Motherwell 2. It was 1997 the last time Motherwell won in the league here at Ibrox. They broke the duck last season when Stuart Kettlewell was in charge, and they've now made it back-to-back wins at Ibrox. I couldn't even tell you the last time they've done that. I don't really care, but I just know that they were better all round. Rangers left it too late to try and have a fight for it. First half, really poor. First goal, Luke Armstrong tapped in after Jack Butland spilled it into his path. The second goal in the half-hour mark, Tom Sparrow got away from Hadji down the right-hand side and went across Jack Butland into the far corner. Rangers got a lifeline into the second half, 54 minutes. Cyril Dessers capitalised on a mistake by Dan Casey, but the Steelmen held strong. They defended their box. They had a couple of attacks, a couple of breakaways. He couldn't get their third goal, the fourth goal in the game. The Rangers did not have enough. Barry Ferguson will have tough questions to answer, no doubt, in his press conference. Full time here at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Motherwell 2.
Thanks to Stephen Craigan there, the guys in the studio with me. He just cut a frustrated figure all afternoon, and really from the start they just weren't at it. Better in the second half, but not good enough from Rangers.
No, Rangers have effectively got out of the game what they put in. You cannot leave it that late, certainly at Ibrox, when you've got a support in which Rangers do that have got demands and expectations. You would have thought the wake-up call would have come off the back of the manager's departure last week. You would have thought the wake-up call would have come midweek when they go 2 goals behind against Kilmarnock and have to fight back to eventually win 4-2. You would have felt like a different type of performance was coming this afternoon, and it just wasn't there. As Craig says, it was too little too late. They thought they had a leveller as well, which again the guidance on that, Kenny, with the Cyril Dessers goal that was disallowed, was the on-field decision was offside. The ball hits an attacking player and continues to an attacker who is in an offside position. We couldn't definitively say that there was a touch off of Danilo that then ran through to Cyril Dessers, but the reality is on this day, on this this afternoon. It's all about Motherwell. What a brilliant performance, what an excellent result for them under their new manager as well. 2 back-to-back wins certainly midweek and rolling on into today.
I think as well, sorry Kenny, it wasn't like Rangers threw the kitchen sink at them. They weren't knocking. Yes, they had chances. You would expect them to have chances. Motherwell getting tired, etc. But Motherwell thoroughly deserved a win, I felt anyway. They weren't knocking down the door to the point where they deserved the equaliser. I wouldn't have said Motherwell managed the game pretty well, and even Leanne touched on it during the game how slack Czerny and Bajrami was. That's when you're 2-1 down with 10-15 minutes to go. You need to be concentrated. You need to be able to find your man 10 yards away from you. And they failed, and they failed to get the equaliser, and they look a dejected bunch on the pitch. But well done to Motherwell, fantastic result, fantastic performance.
I think that's the key thing. We must mention that. Just like the St Mirren fans last Saturday, Rory, the away fans having a ball in the corner there, fantastic for them this afternoon.
Yeah, I think Michael Wimmer would have pinpointed the weaknesses in the first half from Rangers at Rugby Park during the week. And my goodness, did they capitalise on it. Big spaces in the middle of the pitch, Raskin and Diamandi isolated, Hadji and Czerny pushing too high up the pitch, leaving space down the sides. Tom Sparrow exploited that very well. And not only that, but the execution of their in the final third, the pass, the finish, whatever it may be, was on point, and it was better than Rangers. And as I said, they executed the game plan really well, and what they managed to do, which Kilmarnock couldn't do, was see out the second half with a little bit more defensive nous and understanding of keeping your shape. So as I said, Motherwell ran out thoroughly deserved winners.
We'll get back to Stephen Craig and short. I think we can hear the reaction coming through the airwaves there from the Rangers fans at Ibrox. Let's do the classified scores first of all, and then we'll